going today.
Feels bad.
It does indeed still feel bad after last year, but we can have a look and see as we're going to be going straight into game. A lot of these teams, because of all of the new rules in Immortal War, wanting to immediately get their hands onto the golden loot areas, we're immediately going to be getting to see Plumeria onto this Kurumi, using that tether, getting that damage reduction. This is actually going to be the Zai composition coming through with a Hattie from Spooner. So we're really excited to see how that's going to play. Plumeria unfortunately gets caught out by that Tessa V1 and just eats the full horizontal of that pulsar directly to the face.
The Panama's team challenging this Firefly situation. A very, very common strategy to find these Fireflies just outside of Sunwing and immediately timing attacking Creditor. Desperately trying to survive this 3v1. Numinos, Jixi, and Pename surrounding him on all angles. The Moonbane is going to come down for Lucio's team, showing up big, absolutely shredding this team, and Rusta and Team Risk Takers is going to clean this up and claim Sunwing.
Yeah, it claims Sunwing. It does, however, show their hand, right? That Moonbane can be seen by everyone on the map, so this is an invitation to a lot of these other teams. If you think you have enough gear, you can potentially come try and challenge us. Heading over, we're still going to be seeing more of these fights go down. This is going to be the traditional Sand Siphon composition coming through. The RMV on that staff scooping, unfortunately, up BWG's Realm and allowing the rest of DNZ to absolutely shred the second that he is logged onto that ground stagger. We do, it looks like, have a Yushan transformation as well as a Farrier V3 now onto the field as DNZ see all that come out and decide to just take to the treetops and wait some of it out.
Now, Rioma's going to go down, but there's still a 2v3 situation on there. Can BWG clutches up? DNZ's LXY is getting really, really low, but Temi finding the Temi ult to survive right now. Zay trying to close the distance, trying to find a hit, but the Takeda is peeling perfectly for his teammates, and DNZ all at 1 HP, surviving and thriving, and they are going to win their off spawn versus BWG.
Ah, fan meta. We're back in fan meta, Raven. We've never left fan meta. The charged RMV on that fan being thrown out by that Tumult constantly landing into the backs of all of those players. Like you said, the Takeda doing a very good job of peeling, providing space for the Tumult to be able to get away with those focus attacks so that you're not turned in and ready to find the parry. And Sand Siphon does what Sand Siphon does best, which is sustain. Even if you start going a little bit down, the Zip having all of that healing and Tumult able to find the isolation with the ultimate allows you to be able to recover a lot of these fights. Is moving over to Celestra. We've got a Yushan. Unfortunately, Chilean that Justina has already gone down. It is just up to Kanghai and BLZ on the Yodo and the Yushan. We're getting a lot of damage coming through from these spear strikes on that Terracotta Warrior, but unfortunately it's not going to be enough to be able to kill the Yodo, and surely the second his ultimate drops out, this Yushan is also going to be following his team to the Soul Altar.
Yeah, for former champs versus current champs. It looks like we're going to get a salty run back. Kanghai trying to survive right now. This is going to get Tessa ulted. Can he get over the ledge to deny this kill? Chili is going to come back in, try to buy some time. BLZ as well on the ice pick. Squeaky is going to fall to Chili right now in a 3v2 situation. Kanghai does come back in, but he is one hit away with the pulse. We're going to release that stone form, and Wooey is going to get taken down. Sometimes the salty respawn works, Micey. Just when you just a pinch of salt is all it takes to make that flavor pop.
Yeah, a pinch of salt, and also your team being able to provide you the spacing so that when you get hit by that Tessa V1, you can break away unnoticed when the 3-second enchantment hits your Yushan, who is incredibly low. Really good interceptions coming in through from both the Justina and the Yodo, able to utilize that Yodo F to just keep everyone locked down so they don't get to follow up onto the Yushan. And now with that fight won, HY can move in and claim all of the spoils of Celestra. This is going to be brilliant news for this composition because Kanghai wants all of this equipment to be able to scale up his ultimate.
Yeah, Ice Pick, one of those compositions that are a great counter on these Fireflies, as it can really run down all the Attack on Titan teams. When Viper is able to pour it out, Justina is able to close the distance, stay on top of them, and once Justina closes the distance and Yushan ult is still up, there is no counterplay. It's pretty impossible for Wu Chen and Viper not to respond to a Yodo, a well-placed Yodo, and it looks like Mado, Spooner, and Plumeria making their way into Celestra. Now, most people don't know this, but Mado and Spooner did get third last EGL Grand Finals, just right outside of qualifying going to Worlds. Now, they did have the Great Paku filling in the shoes. Plumeria will be showing up. Can they have the same success this year? Now, unfortunately for them, they have one of the monsters lurking near them inside Celestia. That first spawn, very, very critical, because once you get that money with the new money system, Moonbane becomes a big possibility. You can pretty much rush a Moonbane within 15 to 30 seconds of these off-spawn situations. The combination of First Blood and the new talents gives you enough to get a Moonbane off-spawn.
Yeah, and not just that, but if you're breaking all of these destructibles, you can see the Kurumi just running into every single one of those crates, picking up the money that gets left behind. It's the reason why a lot of these teams like hot dropping into Shipwreck, but also Artisan's Grove, which we all lovingly refer to as Money Spot, because of those free warehouses. The top, the bottom, and the middle, if you run through all of those, you're going to be able to pick up an awful lot of money very, very quickly, and kite over towards Celestia to be able to pick yourself up a Moonbane nice and early on, which is very good to being able to lock down these teams and guarantee that you have an advantage, a significant advantage, moving into that first fight off drop.
It looks like we'll be following. I miss their old team name, Foolish Ambitions. That's probably my favorite Naraka team name I've ever heard. Foolish Ambitions. Looks like BG's team is in a fight versus TNB. BG, one of the best duelers inside EU. I'm curious to see how he does in solos. Their zipping is unfortunately going to go down. It looks like they're going to already be in a disengage angle, using the zone as cover and these rocks. Now, first zone, one of the big tricks in trios you can do is use this zone for cover, and it looks like a Viper team, Attack on Titan, coming in hot. Armor Circle is going to deny the pressure of this stun. Bang, looking to do some damage right now. TNB responding with all of their anti-burst cooldowns, but the Moonbane is going to come down. They are stuck here in the middle of a sandstorm and the zone. Kurumi ult is going to be invested. Can they find the reset here? Surfing this Moonbane, TNB, can they bring this back, Moxie, with the odds against them?
Well, Poco just went down, unfortunately, to that Moonbane. No Tumult Ultimate coming through. We try now to use that fan-charged R&B to buy ourselves the space as well as the stagger. Oh no, Tizzy goes directly into one of those Bane Breath AoEs. Has to utilize the combo breaker to be able to back one off. You can see the res attempt coming on through. TNB will be able to cut that one off with the charged R&B on that fan. Kurumi Tether coming through as well, so that Tumult is able to take this forward aggressive position and look to try and challenge the space, since it is a 2 versus 2. And Bokai with that Kurumi Tether looks like he might actually know. He rests on the soul, so he's going to be running back. In fact, he's coming back to help his team right now. Kurumi V2 comes on down. Everyone gets the armor refresh, and off of the back of that, we will be able to turn the fight around. Huge plays coming on through from TNB. The fact that they run into a Viper team with the V1 rather than the V3 is absolutely brilliant, because it means when they get hit by that 5-second stagger, the Takeda with the ultimate can still utilize the spear and shoves and knock everyone away. So it isn't until super late that he actually goes down in that fight.
TNB is the other Worlds teams created by Worlds No Sense. He was thinking of retiring after Worlds, but decided against it and decided he wanted to try his hand at a season of trios. And we're seeing TNB with excellent gameplay. They're able to survive a full all-in. Now we're going to get HX's respawn. They did die off spawn inside Celestia. Now they're going to be fighting against LG. It's do or die right now. All or nothing. Squeaky putting down the portal, the plan B, but plan A has to work right now. LG doing their best on this Temi, able to iframe now, and LG's Bond, the Takeda, the core of the team is going to be going down. Sachi goes down to 1 HP though. Can they trade out, bring this back down to a 2v2? Good peel from HX, able to create that space. Vicky Chen and Andy tries to find a transfer and cannot land the kill.
Oh, you want to talk about Trio's weapon meta? Longsword is definitely up there as well. Those horizontal charge attacks just cleaving through, peeling for the team, finding the stagger, and then Squeaky removed from the fight, a little bit off on the sidelines, getting to throw those horizontals and still able to aid the team with the F, with the wind wall, allowing for that extra shield to be able to keep Sachiko on the front line up and alive.
HY also in the kill field, taking down BWG. That's going to be their respawn right now. Bijin as well, last man standing for his team. XP in shambles right now. Bijin with that movement though on the Matari. Can they hold down my man with the movement? He's some of the smoothest to do it. Now we're going over to the realm of Yang. Takeda on Takeda action. DNZ full cooldowns already be using. We're on to phase 2. Can YMTQ close this out? Takeda and Zipping, no armor to their names. Big Perry's gonna come out. Takeda taken to the ground. Takeda on Takeda. Actually looks like Takeda is gonna get peeled off. DNZ's Jin Chan trying to buy time, trying to find the flank. One is going to go down. We're down to a 2v2 for the clutch for this Yang. DNZ Elixir taken to the skies. 1 HP left, and now DNZ's Jin Chan able to find the kill. 2v1 situation, and they're going to clean it up, winning EU Spring Challenge first realm of Yang.
You know, we're just ticking off all of the weapon metas one by one, Raven. We've talked about the fan, we talked about the longsword. It's time we talk about the pole sword, because that pole sword just being used to referee and catch out those players looking to try and put themselves onto the sidelines and get a reset point. It's absolutely brutal inside Realm of Yang. It's absolutely brutal when we head into these final end zones as well. We can have a look here. This isn't a team not taking a Realm of Yang. This is a team who's going to be looking to try and groove some of these players who are hit with Yang depletion. This is the third party composition, the skirmisher comp, or the Viper variety. Or if you've been following MVPL, as Dunk loves to call it, the blind date, or the blind Riz composition coming through with that Tessa, Wu Chen, and a Viper. It is going to be the F2v1 variant, however, of that Viper coming through. So as we theorized, a lot of these Vipers moving over to the silence on the F ability and prioritizing the 5-second stagger on the ult to be able to lead off of the back of that Tessa v1.
29 people alive for the first game of this Spring Cup. Risk takers looking pretty scaled right now, and this is a mid game with the Yang depletion situations all going down. They're sitting on the outside, scaling up, packing their lunch boxes for the end game. It looks like DNZ is gonna clean up BWG, unable to get away, one of the buff teams, and this is that mid game. It's super dangerous to be out there in the wild with the red buffs running around, with the Yang depletion teams looking to all in. Unless you're in a good situation, finding and navigating these fights is key to making it to these end games and securing those places points and surviving. Because I always say, Moxie, you can't get kills if you are dead.
Yeah, you can't get a better kill multiplier as well if you're dead. A lot of the time, it's much better to prioritize surviving into end zones so that even— oh, okay, we fire caged? Are we just doing this drop for Million Birds Might and reset? Maybe. Looks like yes. I was gonna say, they still have 1 minute left on the Vermilion Birds Might, so it is a little bit early to go for that reset, but I think they just want to take the time to try and find some scouting information about wherever the players are around them when they're in that spirit form.
A really, really smart play from DNZ. I was curious to see which team this is, and it looks like—
wait, did they spell Bang?
Did they spell Bang? What do you mean?
Yeah, Bang is behind them. They're 100% going to run into YMTQ. But I don't know if their two players headed Siphon actually spotted the Bang team.
They have 1 minute and 30 seconds, so they have a lot of time to go out there and scout. And YMTQ, less than 2 minutes left for this Yang depletion. If you're just tuning in to Naraka, after you go into Realm of Yang, fortune favors the bold, but when you are not fortunate, you have to find a soul room in order to survive. You have 4 minutes and 20 seconds in order to find this, and once you hit that 2 minute mark, it starts getting dicey. It takes around 1 minute to fully blow through a team's cooldowns and finish them off. YM2 to TQ looking in transition. It looks like they needed some grapples, but grapples never gonna find a kill. We need to fan out and find a team. It's looking dire for YMTQ. Oh my god, why is this so difficult?
Yeah, it's also really unfortunate, like, when you're running into a lot of these teams in this current meta, chances are you run into either a Siphon composition, which has all of the sustain necessary to be able to outlive a fight that goes longer than a minute, or you run into the Wu Chen team, which just the second that one person goes down, portals right out. And unfortunately for YMTQ Raven, Yang depletion, it looks like, is going to claim another team. They are unable to find a team, unable to take a fight. And it looks like they're just going to take their fate into their own hands, run themselves into the zones that they deny some of these teams in this lobby the ability to put a point onto their tally. As Scare Rush comes on through, G-Shui coming in with that Viper F2, immediately connecting the silence onto T and B. And the second that we find that kill, off we use our Wu Chen teleport to reposition before we get punished by the rest of the team.
And YKZ picking up some critical kills here in the mid game. And this is what Attack on Titan is known for, this mid game assassination split. Hit and run, guerrilla warfare, get in, get out, over and over and over, and it really loses power going to that end game. But what doesn't lose power, what only gains power, is the Siphon team, DNZ, getting after it right now. But it looks like Mado's team is going to take him down. The new Zai, the F3 Zai, burning through this Cicada Comet. Doesn't matter that they have blue armor. The Hottie Cube coming in to get out of the Temion, and now Jinchen against the ropes, just staggered by these sticky chains. You can't get away. It's just so annoying to fight again. But unfortunately for Mado's team, HX is going to show in with a nice timing third party, full cooldowns to their names with Draco Storm, and now Karma coming down for Mado, causing pain for everyone else, but HX is going to cause massive pain for Mado and Spooner and Plumeria.
Yeah, really good use as well of that just one Justina V1. They've still got the Yodo, they've still got the Yushan ultimate, so if they do get third-partied or they run themselves into a Viper team, they are going to have resources to still be able to take that fight. Looks at the moment like they're still chasing after this poor lone Karumi. There's plenty of grapples on that Yoda too. We swap over to the bow, we get some nice little shots. That's target lock as well, I'm pretty sure, that BLZ has. Given the fact that the yellow bar looked like it actually timed the sprint out when it connected onto the Karumi too.
Smackline. It was not HX, it was HY Chilean crew. HX is over here doing a dance with risk takers. Now Sachiko's team does have the Tessa ult on them. Nice poured out from Squeaky to get them out of that situation, denying the charm punish, but now HX posturing. They do have Sachiko's ult still on deck, still lock and loaded. The other team, Risk Takers, knows that Viper ult was not used, does not want to take this risk in particular, and it looks like they're going to fade out and disappear, but the blue buff is going to allow HX to search around, hopefully find some mid-game pickoffs. This is one of the tricky things you can do for that second Yang buff. So a lot of teams don't really want to take a fight after second Yang just because the circle is smaller, they're really scaled, and they can leverage that power spike in endgame. But with that blue buff, you can find these solos and duos just trying to survive and play placements, especially with the Viper comp. Silencing a Yushan, a lonely Yushan, is one of the quickest ways for a free kill.
Oh, that's
denying
a bounty scroll.
That ult.
Oh, that's a bounty scroll. Don't need Mystic Might if you have a bounty scroll that's immediately going to tag the team closest to you. Oh, they're hunting the outer edges of the zone too, Raven. This is really ironic because it used to be in the past that playing towards the outer edges of the zone was the safest location, and then teams started clocking onto that strategy, and now they will actually patrol either clockwise or counterclockwise around the outer edges of the zone, trying to see whether or not there's anyone looking to be a little bit sneaky, a little bit stealthy, and hide out of sight, out of mind until the zone properly collapses in and they're able to outlive some of these other teams. So no surprises when HX gets their hands on that Mystic Might, that is the direction that they start to head.
Yeah, transitioning to this endgame, this is something new to EU. They used to be one of the most aggressive regions, only out-aggressed by SEA. But now in this mid-game, you see very calculated play because of the world's players all being spread out and letting these teams know that it just playing for placement, the value of kills goes down as the game goes on. You want most of your kills coming from off spawn, going into Yang or the Yang depletion situations. Once past that point, you're seeing all of these world teams with their experiences finding ways to scale up, get a little bit more loot, get to Jade set up, getting the repair kits and the cannons set up for the positional play of endgame.
Yeah, macro. Macro has definitely improved in the other regions coming through, and like you said, a huge part of it is because that knowledge has now been shared by a lot of these players who have had that experience and that coaching, and they've now taken it to all of these individual teams, and those individuals have taken it even further to other individuals. And it means that instead of just aggressive fighting from the entire beginning of the map to the very end of it, where the zone closes, or rather not even the zone closes, the game finishes before the zone fully closes, which is how EU used to play we are now seeing a lot more measurement, and I think that's really, really smart from these teams because there are so many of these Viper, Tessa, and Wu Chen comps running around that are looking to play off of that aggression, looking to punish those potential fights that they can come in third party. So if you're always taking these fights back to back to back, even when you're not great in terms of your ultimate bank, that's when the Tessa, Viper, and Wu Chen properly punishes because of the fact that Tessa does not need 100% rage to get to use her ultimate. It makes her incredibly strong on the drop when you get first Firefly, but in terms of this tempo as well, right now in this location of the game, Tessa is incredibly strong because you can have 2 of those V1s and still influence all of the fight in terms of just instantly 100 to 0ing a person that you choose.
HX Sachiko's team already up to 9 kills. Now they have been winning almost every single scrim known on EU. Since they've gotten back home, they've non-stop practice, super active, making sure
they just run past Arc.
Arc hiding in the bush sees the demons walk by. They don't want to risk taking this fight. Only up to 4 kills. That team, one of the most scaled teams on the lobby. Now, there's always a battle of the slow compositions versus the fast compositions. The Attack on Titans, the Viper compositions, really fast. Wants to get in there early and middle, deny that scale up. And we're seeing that all the slow compositions did not make it. I'm not seeing one Siphon or Cannonball team making it to this end game. Only Viper teams have survived, and now turning to each other, they're going to be looking to pick off these kills. And with this end game, it's going to be very wide open with a lot of cliff sides. Not a high tree situation, so no fancy Wu Chen ports at the top. Going to be some very risky Viper ult situations where no one's going to be ulting until there's going to be one long string of the Viper rave. Just Viper tethers everywhere.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm going to be so interested to see if all of these Vipers are running V1 or V3. Still not out of the woods just yet because there is another team just next to Numino's team. So they're going to be sticking around that purple bush a little bit longer. We know that Jishui is running that V1 F2. I think a majority of these Vipers that are left actually are running the V1 F2. And one thing that is drastically different about the V3 and the V1 for the Viper is that when the Viper runs the V3, you get freedom of movement and you can still attack, right? It does mean that you get less damage reduction. The V1 comes with 70% damage reduction now attached to it. I believe the V3 has since been bumped up to 55% to come through, but it's still a little bit less. However, it comes with the additional bonus of the Viper being able to silence absolutely everyone for the entire duration, prevent grapples from the entire duration, which is huge when it comes to end zones, right? Because a lot of the time teams, they'll see that there's just too much going on the low ground, and they'll use things like grapples and scare rushes off of trees to just put themselves aerial so that no one notices them playing from above. The V3 can shut down an awful lot of that. And also, if it's every single Viper running the V1 Raven, one Viper's gonna have that V1 go off first and cancel all of the other Viper ults.
Yeah, HX, this is interesting from them. They're constantly moving, never really holding one position, so they cannot be ambushed. And it looks like XB with the Xiphon composition is going to pop that Matari out, going for the Plum's team right now, but Wu Chen and the Viper is going to disappear, get out of that situation. Now for a little bit, XB is going to be vulnerable without that anti-Viper. And like I said, V3 is going to be coming out on that Viper. The Viper going in, looking to hold down the stagger. Looks like the Gene on the Matari is going to be getting very low. The Wenshin's going to pop that V2, denying that burst. Kaku is going to get popped right now. No more saving grace for him. No more Mortal Defiance to keep him alive. Everyone's down to 1 HP. The Bane Moxie.
Oh no! Wenshin is able to make it out. Sadly, the Zai is not, and it looks like the Matari is going to be going down as well. Such an unfortunate timing, such good timing coming through from the Viper team to time that attack with the pain drop directly onto the Xiphon composition when they didn't have that Matari ultimate to be able to bail themselves out, cut line of sight, and stop themselves from being affected by that Viper ultimate. And this is huge for all of the Viper teams, right? Because one of their biggest counters is this Matari composition. If they want to be able to utilize either the V3 or the V1 in endgame, they have to make sure that the Matari team does not make it to end zone.
Yeah, the big condition for this Xifen composition is you cannot go first. The nice thing about playing these Wu Chen teams is that you have that plan B. You have the ability to bail out. You need to catch this team when they are not able to bail out of the situation. It looks like we got a viewpoint of HY. I believe they are on the cannonball. So going into this endgame, the power spike of that team is going to be going up. Can Sachiko find the silence onto HY's Yushan? That's going to be a big win condition going into this last endgame. Now HX rotating around, making sure that they're not getting ambushed, getting a feel of where every single person is in the lobby. Now this is where HX really shines. They're able to secure and capitalize every time they get to these endgame scenarios.
Sachiko thinking about potentially challenging HX. Doesn't full commit, just goes in peppering with that repeating crossbow, trying to bait some of these resources, push some of these teams a little bit lower so that everyone in the lobby turns onto them instead when they're rotating. Especially since we've spotted out where the legendary armor is going to be held, and that immediately paints a target onto the back of this team because you want to absorb all of that loot for yourself.
He misses the silence. I see you, Sachiko. I see you lurking. He's looking for the silence on the Team HYs. They know this is the team to beat. This cannonball, if they are left uncontested, they will win out this lobby. So Sachiko desperately trying to find a nice flank on the Yushan. He's trying to blindside him, taking to the skies, find his silence. He did miss the first time, and HY wasn't able to hold down Sachiko. But once you miss once, try again. It doesn't matter if you fail once. All that matters is that you keep it going. And now everyone is going to be diving in. HX realizing that they don't get the execution that they want, and Sachiko is going to call the fallback.
Spirit Wall comes on up. Who's going to be able to cap it? We have a lot of these very mobile teams that are going to be coming through. Cannon comes on out from Jishui, just keeping all of the pressure on the teams around them. Really playing off of the advantage that when you're in the Spirit Well, teams outside of that dome can't shoot at you, but you can still shoot back into them. Cannonball composition comes through the Yushan, just drive by and putting a little bit of pressure onto the Viper, making sure that this team cannot just sit comfortably onto all of the loot that they were just able to pick up. We spot one person chilling inside the purple bush, and unfortunately Chili will go down off of the back of that one. Huge parry as well onto the hang sword from Sachiko, who's going to immediately go so incredibly low, has to back fully on off, provides all the spacing for this Viper V1, and it looks like Furi is going to be the target of focus immediately when that sun hits.
YKZ Jigsaw, big play by him getting the parry onto Sachiko, but Risk Takers spawning out this end game. The rule of thumb, first to lose. Risk Takers spawning out the ultimates, coming in hot with a nice third party. They still have their Tesla ult and their Viper ult online. One of the last pure trios left. A bunch of duos and solos taking to the skies, trying to survive the situation. Kanghai, the last remaining player on HY, trying to survive, claim those place points, is going to get taken down by the Dragon's Might of Risk Takers. HX Squeaky not able to survive as well. Now we're going to get a bang versus Risk Takers scrap off to close out game one.
Oh my goodness, that Dragonlight doing so much work. The team really making sure to prop it up as well, either off of the fan R&B stagger coming on through, or making sure to just use the grapple lockdown so that people can't avoid the Dragonlight scoop up when it comes on through. Lucio unfortunately trying to avoid that Viper V1, puts themselves directly into the zone and might go down to the corruption 6 damage off at the back of that. Meanwhile, Bang has started taking control of this lobby. Penway is going incredibly low, gets hit by the Tesla V1 immediately, gets suplexed by the dagger and takes the full hit off the corruption tick, as well as that legendary Soul Jade. Sachiko puts themselves up onto the treetop, still has the Viper V1, still can use that ultimate and drop down onto all of these players, pausing the lobby for a full 5 seconds. Unfortunately for Sachiko, the rest of the team are currently missing Raven, so the lobby might pause, but there's going to be very little follow-up from HX's team.
Sachiko's able to clutch this out. That 1.4 multiplier plus the extra amounts of placement points is big. He's trying to survive over Risk Takers. Rustem, Bang on the low ground, seems to be closing out the rest of this lobby to 3v1v1, I believe, risk Rustim trying to survive, and Sachiko using his ranged weapon to survive the last situation, but he doesn't have to play for second if he can play for first right now. The stun is going to come out. He tries to iframe with the port, but his whole team is not going to make it. Sachiko's going to hold the center. Everyone's stunned. The zone is taken in. Can Sachiko take this down? The big parry's going to come out, and bang, Korean is going to go down to Sachiko. He's not playing for placement. He's playing for the win, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh,
Find the flanks, find that F2 silence on the priority target, his counters, the Mataris, the Yushans, and really opening up the game for HF, starting out the day super strong. And just like EU fashion, we got the Omega hot drop over there at Wreckage.
yeah, no surprises. Like we said in the last game, there's a reason why a lot of these teams want control of Wreckage. It's not just for the loot path, it's also for all of the destructibles. Shadowjade Mines also having a lot of these destructibles, so you're going to be seeing YKZ run through a lot of these boxes, pick up a lot of the money to be able to try and buy themselves that Bane's Breath as quickly as possible. There's also this neat little cove. If you didn't know about this, you can slide underneath that rock ledge and find yourself into that area, and there's a lot of really good troves to be able to find that.
Yeah, Pez team setting up over here at Mine. Now, Mine, most people don't know this, but Shadowjade Mine is actually has the highest concentration of loot out of all of the POIs on the map. Generally, one of the S tier locations of where you can land. Shipwreck, kind of tied with over at Sunwing, but with this many players all in the same position, it is very tough to come out on top right now. Now, looking at BWG's money right now, they are close to having enough for a Moonbane right now. Running that Zysiphen Com. Spooner is going to get caught out from BWG. Can they close the distance? Spooner, one of the best to do it in the movement, holding rank 1 forever. He's able to create some space for his team, and Mato comes flying in with the meteor, able to peel for him, and now Ryomen on Matari is going to be getting low. Lexi's going to come in with the dagger flank. Can he create some space for his team? Zai and Zay pop in the ultimates, keeping up the pressure. It looks like BWG is going to have the Firefly situation, but like I was saying before, Spooner and his movement are going to avoid that burst and get out of dodge.
Yeah, here's the thing about the Matari ultimate though. All of the damage that you do actually gets converted 50% of it to healing. So BWG going to be a lot more sustained after how they took that fight. Lexan also going to be coming up to that Zip ultimate, as well as surely Zay onto that V2 as well. It's going to be a little bit harder to operate the Zai in Shipwreck because you don't really have all of the open space, but you can if you manage to push these players into those cramped close ways. Manage to scoop them all up into that V2 as Predator unfortunately gets hit by that stun. Will immediately go down under the focus fire coming on through from YMTQ. This, however, is the Bane's Breath that was dropped, and it is going to be Risk's Bane's Breath. So even though BWG were getting close in terms of money to being able to afford one, there can only be one Bane's Breath dropped at one specific time. So if one team already drops that Bane, you're not going to be able to drop yours until theirs is run out.
Yeah, you can buy 2 Boon Banes off spawn, and they can literally be sold out within the first 15 or 30 seconds. With the new talent pool, you can start out with a lump sum of money and invest it into a Moonbane. It looks like Risk Takers looking to take another risk here versus Team HY. Chili's team on the Tesla composition. Gets the Tesla ult out. Big parry coming out from Chili, but the Takeda ult is going to come out from Predator. Can he peel for his team to create the space? V2 has to be invested right now. Atari Link going down. It looks like Risk Takers is going to have the edge, having the momentum. Now LY against the corner, double stacked by Rustum and Lucy. The jumping LB is going to come out with Rustum closing out the kill. And can HY in a 1v3 situation, Chile trying to survive this on the Tesla, but Risk Takers this is just a formality. They are going to close this out. Chile and his team HY is going to get wiped out for Shipwreck, and it looks like Risk Takers is going to be claiming the win over here at Shipwreck.
Well, we're going to have a Zai V2 immediately scooping up Pangs Revelia, who's going to go down to the follow-up onto that fan. Mato's team running with the Tumult rather than the Matari. So we've seen now the Hardy with the Zai. We've seen now the Tumult with the Zai as well coming through. This is going to be a Tessa V1 connecting unfortunately onto Bajin. However, fortunately for this Tessa, no one turns around and takes advantage.
Oh my goodness, Bajin's team just coming out hot, taking advantage of this Tesla squad. Every down to one HP, YMTQ is gonna get taken down. Great spacing coming out from BG. Now on the Tessa, definitely one of his comfort picks, one of the best Tessas in EU. I'm always impressed when I get to see some of BG's gameplay, just some of the smoothest, cleanest movement to do it in EU. Besides my man Spooner, the OG of it, we just don't get to see Spooner as much. We got BG as his replacement now as one of the most dominant solo players.
Ooh, someone bought a queue. Which means everyone's going to know which location that team is going to be headed to. This is one of the changes that was made in IW a couple of weeks ago. You can now buy those keys instead of them being dropped by things like frogs that spawn on the map. You can go to a dealer's, you can pick up one of those keys. The additional caveat, however, is that when you do so, it alerts absolutely everybody that that key has been bought and which trove it is going to open. And as a result, a lot of these players, they just get jumped upon by multiple teams looking to absorb all of the loot. And you can see that Sky Cape is going to be opening in 15 seconds as we head over and we see the next boom bin coming on through. So Mulch Ultimate trying to trap Mado's team and separate the Zai from being able to peel for the Zip, who has gone down.
Oh my god, Mado with the meteor trying to get out of this, and Risk Takers again with another Moonbane. They got the double Moonbane, the back-to-back, the sandwich of hot breath. Now Mado, the victim of this Moonbane, his team getting completely wiped out. They do have a second life, they do have a chance to bring it back, but this is just the power of the Moonbane off spawn. Remember when we looked at Shipwreck early on in the game, it literally had 5 teams there, and Risk Takers coming out on top, walking away with 9 kills off spawn. But Redeem's team with the rotation, the bat signals in the sky, the Moonbane is in the sky, they used all their ultimates, now they gotta survive and fade Team XP.
Yeah, this is a team that is built for third partying, so they want to see whether or not there is a fight currently going down that they can look to third party into. Like you've said, Raven, the dinner bell has been rung. These teams know that the Bane's Breath was up. They know that the teams were fighting in the area. The question is, which team do they want to actually fall on to? Is it going to be BWG or is it going to be Risk Takers? As you can see, Wenshan playing on that off angle, doesn't want to take the engagement just yet, has the V3 F3 variant of the Viper. So we do have to be a little careful about how we take this engagement and who we specifically want to be able to lock down. The good news for these Viper teams is if you're running the V3, the Takeda Sand Siphon variant becomes a lot less scary, right? Because one of the problems that Vipers face with the V1 is that even through the 5-second stun, Takedas can still utilize those Furin Shelves and stop you from being able to collapse on top of that team, as opposed to the V3, which is a full silence, which means that no Furin Shelves can be utilized if you're in line of sight of that Tether.
BWG's Zay rotating in, and on the Xiphon comment, it looks like they're going to run this double. I know Zay, Lexon, my brothers, my former teammates, they really don't like the Viper composition, and this is one of the great parts of the Naraka meta, just because there's a certain composition, there's always a counter to it, and on this nighttime day, you do run Matari. She's a classic counter to all of these Viper compositions. Now Yang is going to be coming out, and the great part of that Xiphon composition with Zai is that you're able to go in Yang because you're not completely losing to Siphon or Cannonball that exists in the meta. Really gives you a lot of variability of how you want to play this middle game. A critical part in Naraka tournament scene. How do you play going into Yang? How do you play trapping in Yang? How do you play post Yang? And it looks like XP pre-Yang wants to get in there, and it looks like BWG going for the box, challenging Team HX, and HX is going to get the best of them, but on the other side, HY is going to be running into TNB's Transformers. Wuchen Port is still going to be online, and Viper Stun is going to come out. Can this team survive the burst? Doesn't look like they can, Moxie.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think the Kurumi Teva was utilized early, and as a result, the Tianhai did not get the healing. It's interesting as well that the Kurumi meta has moved away from the V1 and instead utilizes the V2. You can actually see the armor circle up there, so it was the V2 variant of the ultimate. As it is now going to be HY looking to try and find the disengagement safely because they get challenged by Risk-Taters. We thankfully still got the Wushan teleport in action. Is heading over into Realm of Yang. We've got Sand Siphon versus Transformers. Who should come out on top? This is going to be Sand Siphon with the Kurumi variant, not the Z-Ping, which means if a double grab does come through, the Zip ultimate will not save the team.
Now, Kurumi ult is going to be invested. Yushan ult is in. Second phase is down, but Takeda has one more shot to his name. Can he find the kill? Scare Rush into R&B gonna do big damage right now. Bond looking to set it up, has a little bit of time, needs to find this last shove in order to secure this kill. He's not gonna be able to force to pop the F1. Yushan ult is gonna bounce. Kurumi delayed. Kurumi ult is gonna go down. Now LG on the back foot needs to set back and find another way in. Andy has a second to Emmy ult is gonna pop it right now. No Yushan ult to get them out. LG has an opportunity to bring this back, but DNZ is doing a great job of fighting as a team in the center, denying any of the openers, keeping each other alive. Now, last leg of this, Andy is going to get taken down, but 2v3 situation. Takeda with the pulse swords looking for the flank, gets a nice scale rush going in. Vicky Chen tries to survive. 5 seconds left. Who is going to survive? It looks like it's going to be a double grief, Moxie.
Oh no! No, we time out of Yang. Oh, the Sand Siphon stays standing. Even though the Transformers get a second TNI ultimate, they're not able to find the kills. Because that Takeda with that pulse sword is just, he's too slippery. They can't get on top of him. That, unfortunately, is probably, going to go down. That gets hit by the Tesla V1, and then just the immediate follow-through combined with the Draco Storm, additional AoE damage off of every single hit that HX are able to put down is just going to immediately shred them. As we immediately now disengage. Head over towards Ballista Tower, make sure that we're in full control of the space, trying to figure out if we're going to get pressured by any of these teams who are running with that Realm of Yang buff.
Now it looks like Team HX already up to 10 kills. 10 kills, and it looks like their main strategy is sitting on the outside, challenging that Spirit Well, the Thunderdome, Moxie, and they are having a thunderous game right now, up to 10 kills, 40k on Wooly. These guys are going to scale to the moon. The power spike is going to be insane with that Draco Storm. I call it the unlosable buff. Even with double grabs going down, the amount of healing and AoE damage that comes out when you have Draco Storm is amazing, and being a support player, it's the one instance where you get to just front line and have no care in the world.
Yeah, something unfortunately that XP are going to have all of the cares in the world right now because their leaders not the greatest. They've still got all 3 of their players on blue armor, which is not going to be amazing news for them, especially because we do have teams who are currently on the map with Yang depletion who are going to be looking to take fights, looking to pick up these pills so that they can use those soul blends and cleanse that depletion coming on through. Transformers is going to be one of those compositions doing just so. DNZ already coming on through, finds a grab onto Plumeria, just holding Plume right in the center so that X-Knight can come in with that Yushan and that bow and shred the armor and help so that one slam is going to be able to net the kill. Yushan ultimate now onto the field. We get another slam off. There's no reverb grab, however, and it does look like that Zai is able to reposition too safely with that F3 coming on out. And the second that these ultimates are removed from the Transformers team, Raven, we're in real trouble.
Yeah, DNZ still has a Yushan ult. Still has a little bit left. His F3 is going to come out. Mado not able to survive on the Zai. He's going to get pushed into the zone. He is going to get taken down. Now a 2v3 situation. JYY on the Kurumi is really, really low. Spooner goes for the parry. Not able to get it. He has the gold F. He is going to get out, but DNZ is looking to clean this up. Spooner with the counter grapple is going to come all down to DNZ's XZ with that Yang depletion. They are fine. The only Transformers in the game running it on a nighttime Morse. Now, this is one of the strategies that you can do, Moxie. Instead of running that very fast composition with the Fireflies, go very slow and stay inside the realm of Yangs where it's nice and safe and no one can really beat you. None of the best teams are probably running their slow compositions, their power scale compositions, their 3v3 composition, that's Sand Siphon, or their Cannonball. So it gives you a huge advantage inside that realm of Yang. And it looks like DNZ, even though they were going to fall to the one Sand Siphon in the lobby, they are able to find this kill coming out, curing that Yang depletion.
Yeah, and I mean, another reason why Transformers want to take the realm of Yang is because it's a guaranteed fight without you having to worry about third party. right? Transformers fell out of meta for a whole host of reasons, but one of the big ones was that there were just so many compositions that were so strong at being able to live through the ultimate burst cycle of the Transformers composition, and also just teams started really getting so much better at third-party macro, and a lot of the time Transformers might have been able to take a fair 3v3, but unfortunately, even if they find the kills there, they would have lost the overall fight because they would immediately have to deal with a Viper or a Tessa showing up and just using all of that CC to be able to shred through the team. As we have Spirit Wall coming on for the Viper comps, going to be trying to control this one, throws out that Tessa V1, finds the catch as well, using that hang sword and the Shadow Step to be able to close up the distance. Tumult Ultimate is going to be dropped, so that when the enchantment runs out, we shouldn't be able to get through the wall and actually find the kill onto the player who was stunned. And you can actually see that HY are forced to give up that space. The Witch and Teleport comes through and they back off.
Unfortunately, the box composition was designed to win this exact scenario, playing for that Spirit Well. Even though it's been 3 years of an actual box, we finally transitioned to this nice Thunderdome, this Spirit Well spot where you hold the center and get the loot instead of opening the box. But that Temi on the Cicada completely denies that place, shoving you out and sucking all of your stamina. It's really hard to take that fight unless you have a wonderful sequence of cooldown exchange on that team. Unfortunately, HY not able to find their silence target, the stopping of the Temi. Most people think silencing Cicada is the key, or zipping, but actually the one character that breaks up most of your bursts on the Sand Siphon team is that Temi, and with his F, he's able to iframe your stun and also come in hot with that ultimate to peel all of that damage. So if you're able to get that silence on Temi, he ends up being a budget Yushan or Matari. He is a big key to making that execution successful.
Oh, we have an advanced heal! It feels so long since I've got to actually see advanced heal. It also feels even longer since we've got to see it paired with group heal, which was the OP strategy to have your supports be able to have all of those heals transferred to your entire team, but also once you pop one of those resources, continuous tick of that health resource going through your health bar for a limited amount of time afterwards. And it was one of those purple soul jades, and it has unfortunately been affected by the new economic state going into IW, because a lot of these players now are having to prioritize either picking up better armor or better weapons. A lot of the time we don't get to see them roll for as many soul jades as they have in the past, and that means that it's not as common to get to see those two epic soul jades paired up with each other.
Yeah, a lot of the macro for the new Jade system hasn't been figured out. Everything has pretty much tripled, quadrupled in price. Naraka inflation has hit everyone with a new talent tree and a discount. There's just so much for everyone to play around with that the money system is one of those hidden gems that once you unlock it, it really unlocks tournament Naraka for these teams. We're seeing every single kill, you get way more money when you land the kill, and it increases significantly as the games go on. So not all kills are created equal. So how you invest that to set up your team for success is one of the big finesses of Naraka. The power spikes that you can achieve if you know exactly what to buy, when to buy it, sets you apart. And I think that's one of the key points for HX. They always seem to be the richest team on the map, and there's a lot of little tricks that end up stacking up that give them that advantage going into endgames.
Yeah, things like taking those quests, right? A lot of the time when we have these sort of like lulls in action, it feels now like we're seeing a lot of these players pick up those scrolls, either the bell challenges where you ring the bell, or the salutes where you find those prayer statues and you say hello to them and it gives you like soul jades, but it also gives you money for completing it, or Valiant Challenger scrolls, which some of these teams take. And that's another reason why Realm of Yang is so important in terms of macro, because what you can essentially do is you can pick up a Valiant Challenger scroll and then you can put yourself into a Realm of Yang, and that doesn't pause the timer counting down on the scroll. It still keeps ticking. It just guarantees that if you go into Realm of Yang, there's only one other team that you have to worry about, as opposed to everyone in the lobby knowing your location and looking to shock you down.
Yeah, looking over at HY on the outside, we're transitioning to that second half of the lobby. Everyone posturing, making sure their loot is good to go, making sure they have enough repair kits going into this end game. Last 10 minutes to go. Some of the teams scaled to the moon, and with these teams like Team XP, a bunch of blueberries, they have a little bit of money, but they're very, very vulnerable to these teams with the Jades of Destiny, Merciless, Dragon War, and the significant range Jades going into this endgame. You want to position correctly here and navigate the situations, because the one comeback mechanism that exists in Naraka is those late Spirit Wells, those late pieces of loot that have tons of gold Jades, tons of gold weapons, that even though you're a blueberry, as long as you position correctly and find that loot in endgame, you can still find a lot of success and salvage your game.
Well, unfortunately, they're not going to be finding success. They're going to be finding a team scaled crazily higher than they are. Hello, YKZ. That is purple armor and 2 lots of legendary. I believe that's 2 lots of legendary fans on the side of this team. Interestingly enough, they don't actually decide to take the fight. They either didn't see XP roll up into this space, or they don't want to take a fight now because they're worried about being potentially third-partied. Yeah, it feels like, especially going back to that point about the ranged soldiers, cannon stocks have risen even higher because of the fact that the most broken combo on cannon is one soldier now, right? It is Flames Breath and Rupture Gale. Those two, about a year ago now, got combined into the one soul jade. So if you only have enough to be able to afford one purple soul jade, that's definitely one of the ones you really want to have for a whole host of reasons. One, Flames Breath means that when you get hit by the fire tick, you're taking 50% reduced effective heal, which is really brutal, being able to just push all of these players through their resources incredibly quickly. And 2, Rupture Gale means that you're getting even bigger AoE splash damage on that cannon, which means in trios, you're always going to be hitting at most 2 players for every single shot, or rather at minimum 2 players for every single shot. Potentially, if teams are stacked on top of each other, you're going to be hitting like 8 teams, or rather 8 players all in one go. And every single one of those hits on every single one of those players keeps generating the rage, which means that you're never going to be able to run out of the ultimate. It's the reason why when we see things like the Cannonball composition come through, the Farrier is always the one who has Rupture Gale and Flame Breath on the cannon, because she's the one always having to rebuild that V3 charge.
Yeah, HX scaled to the moon right now. Tessa, Wooey with the gold armor, all those guys with purple weapons transitioning to this endgame. The next Spear Well is going to be popping up now. The interesting part of the Spear Well versus the old box system is this giant dome. You can shoot out of it, but you cannot shoot into it. And in these endgames, it's a pinnacle point of contention because it's also one of the safest positions that you can hold. Now, you have to be able to hold it in a way that ensures mutual destruction. If another team looks at you and you're looking kind of weak, they may contest you and all in you. And because of the giant glowing circle, it's like you're a giant moth. The whole lobby does notice exactly what everyone is doing. So coming out of that situation as a losing team is very, very dangerous. It's one of the quickest ways to get lobby. So playing out this scenario as Naraka kind of matures and evolves is going to be very interesting. The meta revolving around the new Spirit Well.
Yeah, especially because a lot of the time, some of these teams, like, they're all in the area, but they're not actually contesting the Spirit Well cap. They're probably going to wait for that Spirit Well to actually get capped and then slide in and try and grab some of this loot. XP definitely needs it. They're all currently on blue armor still, as you can see that there are teams and a fight currently going down inside that Spirit Well. Like Raven said, box composition has now pivoted to being a dome composition. That Tumult ultimate filling up the entirety of that space, locking down so many of these players. As XP doesn't actually go for the challenge, doesn't try and grab some of the loot. Instead, they wait for all of the teams in the area to be low and then slide in to steal the kills.
Sliding and vibing for these kills. XP doing their best with the blue armor, trying to pick up more kills, transition endgames, and the amount of match MVP games I've seen where NBPL team, pro teams in this exact situation still find a way to win this game. Just because you got blue armor, just because you have blue weapons, transition is one of these stack 21 endgames does not mean you can't win. As long as you play your cards correctly, as long as you go second or third, you can find ways to salvage your loot. So XP, Vegeta, and their squad, all they need to do, find a kill right now, survive this 80% Moonbane, and hopefully they can ladder up. This is one of these most stacked games we've seen in a while. 22 people alive on a nighttime Morris game.
Oh, that's Blitzstring Edge attached to a purple pulsar. That is going to be doing a lot of damage. Tessa V1 comes on through. HX trying to defend the space that they've been able to buy for themselves. Viper V1 as well, going to be following suit, trying to find the lockdown onto those players who wanted to to hide and break line of sight inside that building, and it just means that Sachiko is able to find those isolated targets, finish up with that pulse sword to allow Wooey to come in with the fan and find the kill.
Yeah, big burst damage with the pulse sword on the Viper. Really, really good weapon choice on HX as Sachiko gives you the chance to find those follow-up damages after you get that stun. But HX under a ton of pressure right now, gonna get Tesla ulted. Viper stun on top of it. Can they survive? Sachiko makes his way into the building, but they are lock and loaded, staying on top of him. Wuchen Port's gonna come out into a Moonbane. Unlucky port coming out from Squicky. Bang. If they only knew where HX just ported into.
Oh, that is unfortunately the reality of the Wuchen Raven. Sometimes you put your team safely, and other times it's a panic port and it drops you directly on the doorstep of either a Thorny Roller or a Bane's Breath, or just into the zone itself. Hopefully they're going to be able to maybe pick up one of their players, given the fact that the team they were fighting did not see where they actually ported into, and I don't believe the Wuchen actually went down either. So potentially you are going to be able to pick them up, as we can have a look and see that XP has rocked a Gale Orb.
They've moved up in life. They're
Raven, they've been scavenging.
And now they're Graves. Now they're Graves.
So many of these teams were dying around them, and they were able to just loot through all of the bodies because everyone was focused about the Moonbane and the aggression that the Tessers and the Vipers showed by trying to defend their space when the Bane's Breath went up with the V1s and the V1s from the Viper and Tesla as well.
Really, really good stuff coming from XP. Had no lead to their name, and now the big come up. Can they hold down to this building? DNZ on the Transformers, peppering in those cannon shots. The second Spirit Well coming out. And what can you do versus a giant Titan force ready to claim this next loot? Two Transformers, one of the hardest teams to dislodge and make them move. Yushan creating so much space, Monk creating so much space, and with all this cannon pressure, denying any team from getting close. A Warburst on Yushan, and the second Spirit Well is going to come out. 15 people alive. Who is going to take game 2 of the Spring Challenge EU Trios?
I mean, surely the Transformers team are going to be uncontested taking the Spirit Well. Not only, like you said, do they have a Warburst, which has a silence effect and can also act as one giant hitbox to stop the ranged weaponry. It also almost entirely covers the Spirit Well, and you can see that no one wants to challenge it, and there it is. DNZ, entirely uncontested, will be able to pick up all of that loot to scale. Insane damage is going to be coming through from this Monk when he goes for that ultimate, as well as insane sustainability given the fact that they're able to get their hands on legendary armor. The problem for them, Raven, is that we still have a lot of these Viper teams, and there is a lot of buildings to be able to break line of sight and hide from when those grabs start to come on through. Merciless Havoc is going to be one of those legendary soldiers that BWG has. I believe we have a Stanchion Skypiller on the team currently to the left of them. As with that Merciless Havoc, they connect onto one of the players inside the Corruption and just keep him eternally juggle that to be able to pick up the kill off of the Corruption, take damage additionally, as well as on top of all of the damage coming on through from that blue staff.
Great job from Yeoman, able to iframe using the Matari Blink, denying the Tesla ultimate. It looks like BWG is going to try to claim this house to themselves, forcing HY, evicting them from their house. Merciless, one of the best space-creating Jades out there, if not the best. But BWG is going to be going into zone. It looks like Zex, Lexton, and Ryoman. Looks like they have a little pocket. The boys are stacked up on top of each other, but on the outside, DNZ on the Transformers, causing havoc. Double rack coming out. Revelia going to get scooped up one more time. Can we get another? Yes, we can. Chile going for a ride to Rebellion. Still on the roller coaster. That is this Monk ride. Looking for that double grab again. Tesla ultimately coming down. Can Lixie get that last time? He's not able to. He is going to get enchanted, but the healing circle from his Karumi is going to keep up, transforming his Yushan. They are going to keep up. They are going to claim this top zone. Chile Soul Bloom is going to be consumed. 50% ult on LZ. Lixie on the Monk. Can he get a second ult online? 10 people alive. DNZ is looking promising to take this down. That blistering is going nuts on the Monk. He's absolutely chunking everyone, but unfortunately they are going to lose their Karumi.
Revan, BWG's killing everybody right now. They've got two Merciless Havocs and a Zyv2 currently off on the field. It's gonna be that next transformation now coming on through from Lixie. He doesn't have his Yushan, he doesn't have his Karumi, so his half should absolutely melt. He's able to find one grab, but unfortunately, unless he's able to find that Devil Slam, it's probably not going to be able to confirm any of the kills. And you can see the BWG! No! Zay gets scooped! Now he's looking for a second player. Can he find the double grab before he loses the ultimate? He gets hit by the Viper V1, tries to iframe. The stun will be able to iframe the V1 by cancelling the ultimate early. Lixie unfortunately gets hit with the uppercut into the Corruption 6 damage and will go down. And surely this is going to be BWG walking away with the MVP. Raven, when we saw their POV and they had two merciless ultimate, which is absolutely insane to think about, as we can have a look and see what exactly is going to be happening. The compositions that we're going to be running into, it's going to be Zyphon compositions coming on out from XB's team. Already a lot of damage taken on this Zip, not a single weapon picked up from the side of the Zip either, so she is going to fall as TNB with that fan. It's just absolutely brutal. So much cleave coming through. That grab, that pull in off of the charged R&B, absolutely devastating for these players, because it means that you can't escape, right? If you don't have a weapon, you can't do your focus right cancels to be able to dodge properly out of the way. And a lot of the time, if you're trying to just disengage a player with a fan so that you can try and loot over and maybe pick up a weapon yourself, that grab in off of the charged R&B connection denies you the space to be able to pick up a weapon from any of the troves around.
Yeah, off squad, always the dangerous part of all. You give a good chance that you will not get a weapon. Hand-to-hand your teammates are to find a good flank play. Good job from TNB to get those good flanks going on. Even though next week really great solo players, trios is all about that team playing. Looks like LG is going to be going down to Risk Takers Team Moonbane right now within the first 30 seconds of the game, coming out with the Moonbane, laying down their hot breath all over this Eventide Temple. Now Lucio on the Vipers, looking to get the silence down. Nice 180 release on the focus attack. Mado thinks he's safe. He's going to get deep fried by Lucio. Spooner now looking for the hit, but the F3 is going to deny that pole sword turtly, and Risk Takers making it look simple, making this not look risky with their non-stop Moonbane play.
Yeah, I think we need to rename Risk Takers to Bane Buyers, as off of the back of this, they're still going to have that AoE for a little bit longer. It's 20 seconds left on it, and they're going to be able to take another fight against another team and just absolutely mince through LG's Vicky-chan. One person locks them into stagger, and you can just have all of this damage off of that blue pole sword, because there's absolutely nothing that player can do. When one person's charging blue, one person's going for light attack stagger, and the other person is looking for the flash of red to deny any potential turnaround. As it is now going to be Tessa composition coming on out. Chili able to find the kill onto Numi, and they're going to lose both himself and his Viper and Pen in a very short fashion. Doesn't look like the Witch and Teleport was up to be able to buy his team the disengage and potentially get the revive.
HY showing them big, heating up and warming up, now going over to Team Bang versus XP. Palm's gonna get juggled right here at 100-0 by Wenshin, zipping, doing a ton of work with it. That Zyphon composition, the direct counter to the Viper comp. But the great thing about the Viper comp, we got Wu Chen on deck. We got the designated Elo driver getting them out of that sticky situation with Team HY. We saw them off spawn with their ferocity, their focus fire on point. Mado is going to fall victim to HY, only using that 1v1. And now with the Tesla or with the Wu Chen port, they're able to go for this chase out Chili and his squad in hot pursuit. Maria is going to get caught out, not able to get away, not able to make it into the cave, and now HY up to 6 kills off spawn. We're only 2 minutes into the game, Moxie. 2 minutes.
Well, it's a Fireflies map, Raven, and we're probably going to be adding even more kills to that tally, as it is going to be fighting out against Vigine's team, and Bang, Pom going incredibly low, manages to book it back to his Wu Chen shield to get a little bit of that armor reset going on for charges up the R&B on those dual halberds, commits it, throws it out, and off of the back of that, Korean will also add the cherry on top, the R&B on that fan to be able to take another one of these players down.
Yeah, Team Bang salvaging their game, finding the off spawn, and getting that kill. It's all about getting that kill to get that momentum going, get the juices back flowing, get back in sync with your team. Big money going to them. Like I was saying before, the money changes. Every kill you get, significant money goes to your team. Now, HX, the current leaders right now, are going to be going against TMD. The South of Celestia, Zai ult's going to be going down. The Zyphin comp, Wooey on the Zai, able to find that first kill. TMD's Bokai is going to get taken down, but the transformation is going to go down. TMD's Karumi trying to look for the stun right now. Wooey using that big body of the monk to get some whips going, to get that punishment going down. The burn damage is going to go on with this monk, hitting my man's toes. He's trying to scoop away, trying to deny the damage, but Tizdy is going to get taken down, and HX is going to close out and clean this fight, but not until Yushan has something to say about it. Looks like Yushan was able to get up, and now Zion is down. Can Tisby and crew bring this back versus EU's best?
Huge parry comes on through, landing immediately into the Dragon Slayer's pawn, Nezhaz. And as a result, Warriors force now to use that F3 to be able to reposition, comes back in with the charged RMB and those halberds. We'll be able to find that as well as the F3 connection onto Bokai, who will go down to that huge hit of damage. And unfortunately, even though the Transformers did a valiant job being able to survive through the full effect of that Zai V2, they're not able to survive once all of that huge health, that absorb tank of the Tian Hai goes down and leaves the Yushan and the Kurumi vulnerable behind.
Really, really big play coming out from HX. Remember, it's not about the games that you should win, it's about the games that you shouldn't win. HX with that game one, Sachiko with a huge clutch, gaining all of those points, setting up his team for momentum. Now with their Zai composition, even versus Transformers, a decent counter to this Zyphin composition. So you see Wooey use that big body to his advantage, getting non-stop pressure through that monk with that invisibility. This is Zyphin comp. I thought when I first saw it, Moxie, when we saw it that first day, that it was it a phase? Was it just kind of like a fluke, that it was a gimmick that no one could figure out? Now, under the pressure and adjustments from the best teams in the world, it looks like this composition is here to stay, and is a lot more dynamic than a lot of people expected.
Yeah, they actually did an interview. I remember the team who first ran it, or rather one of the teams who first ran it was Wolves. They like really doing this too. And they did an interview where they actually said that they were practicing the Zai comp the week before MVPL moved on to the next patch, because one, they understood that the patch was coming, and two, they understand that the money changes were coming, right? Like you said, inflation has hit Naraka, so it's a lot harder to be able to equip your team as it was in comparison to the past. And one of the benefits of running the Zai composition is that you only really need one lot of purple armor, according to the players, and that's onto the Zai. The Zai doesn't get any damage reduction on any of her gold frames on her ultimate, right? She's incredibly squishy. But the Zip and the Matari both have avenues of being able to self-heal. The Matari can heal the entirety of the team with the V3, having all of that damage, 50% of damage converted into either healing of health, or if your health is full, into over armor. And then Zip, obviously, we all understand is crazy strong in terms of that healing, as well as having the damage reduction if you take the Rage path of the new talent system. You get damage reduction after casting your ultimate, which is really strong for Zip and really strong for Zai. And in comparison to things like the Cannonball composition, where if you're running the Yueishan Farrier, then you need to have 2 lots of purple armor or legendary armor to be able to better equip the health bars of the Transformers user. Or if it's Transformers, where you have the TNI and the Yueishan, you also still need 2 lots of the legendary or purple armor. It becomes a lot easier early on in these games, and when economy is as tight as it is, to just need 1 set of purple armor and still win these fights.
Yeah, that's a really good point. It is the budget comp. Zai gets so much value, has so much power off spawn, and it looks like Bond overextends right here, going into the enemy team, and they fully juggle him. After he goes to this guy, gonna find his head, but before he did engage right now, what HX doesn't know is my man got 2 ults to his name, so as long as he doesn't die right here, he will be able to come back with a second ultimate. Wait to make the gig is up. HX realizing, wait a second, this Zai is not created equal. We got 2 ultimates, but it's not gonna matter. They're able to get that burst going, and HX is able to clutch it out. Now, they don't get the ability to go into Yang, but they do follow up and be able to get these kills. Already up to 6 kills on this Zyphin comp. Wooey with the purple pulse sword, with the purple armor, looking really, really strong. And Again, another situation where HX is on the back foot, a fight that they shouldn't win with a double Zai ultimate, but they find the team play, they find the coordination, and they're able to pick up that win.
Yeah, and because they get those kills as well, they get Squeaky's Matari ultimate. Their V3 is now going to be refreshed, so if they run into some of these teams who are out in the open because they have Yang depletion, they will potentially be able to disengage them or have that sustain to be able to live long enough for their Zai to be able to charge up into that next V2. As we're going to see HY now chasing onto Numi. Throws it! Oh! We tried a 180 and unfortunately they parried. And off of the back of that, Numi will go down.
Arcnumenos gonna get taken down. HY looking really dialed in going into this third game of the Spring Challenge EU Trios. They started off a little bit slow, a little bit of desync, but now things are coming together. They have purple armor, they have the Tiger's buff, they are running around and refereeing this lobby on their Attack on Titan with that Tesla and Viper. Now on the left side, or far right side of the map, a lot of the scuff teams, the white armor teams, the teams that are trying to respawn, losing their off spawn, are running out, and it looks like HY is the janitor team of the lobby, cleaning up all of the trash. Unfortunately, Mado is going to get caught out as a solo, looking to survive for this endgame.
Oh, HY as well are able to come in and grab all of that loot that was left behind. It looks by the Spirit Wall. As that will be even better in terms of their upgrading. Oh, I was wondering, Raven, it's not quite a Naraka cast if we don't talk about the strength of jabbing, as it is going to be jabbing attached to this particular staff. There's a couple of soul jades in Naraka that changes the weapon attacks. However, a lot of those, in fact nearly all of them, change how the animation comes through, so you can actually tell when you look at how a player would attack whether or not they have a specific soul jade attached. For instance, if you have a Heartstopper, then it actually means that your Dragon Slayer is charged above your head, as opposed to something like jabbing, which is one of the only soul jades, in fact the only soul jade in the game, that has no visual cue that the soul jade is attached. Instead, it becomes a 50-50 of you having to figure out whether or not jabbing is attached to the staff, and potentially getting the wrong read and the wrong parry timing as a result.
Jabbing's one of those shades that I believe should turn gold for many reasons. Now BWG is going to get a fight, and Lexion unfortunately is going to get taken down first. He does have his res, but they do have the red buff, so BWG is going to take the L right now to survive for later, take this reset, and it looks like Bang is going to be able to pick up those kills with the blue armor. Unfortunately, when the team has Vermilion's buff, they only give up soul blooms, they don't give up their loot. They're able to reposition on the map, but that does mean that BWG did win in the Realm of Yang. We haven't been able to catch a lot of these Realm of Yang fights because of the non-stop action on these Firefly days. A lot of teams are taking fights using these Viper compositions to find these grief fights around the edge. Now transitioning into the later half of this mid game, second Yang is going to be coming out. Yang depletion situations are going to be mapped out. Now all the teams, this is one of the new parts of the game that I would say a lot of teams didn't pick up on that, but being over in the CN for Jacob, these store situations and these mid games end up being very dicey. People take it for granted that they're able to go and be like, oh, I need my slots inside ranked, but in a big highly contested tournament, each store situation is actually a big ambush location that you can get surprised. You can just get wiped out if you're not ready. A lot of teams have very complicated setups where they set up distraction plays and assassination plays using that Viper silence. Now, with the lull of everyone using V3 Viper, people have forgotten of how deadly that F2 flying in silence and how quickly it can come in and just absolutely grief your game.
Yeah, not only that, but like some teams will literally go into corruption damage to be able to roll the soul jades at the dealers, because what you don't actually pick up gets left on the outsides of it, right? So if you manage to go to a dealer's like here, outside temple, and say Bang would roll for some soul jades and they don't decide to pick up any of them, another team in the area would actually be able to roll on up and potentially pick up any of the soul jades that this other team has already paid for. So as a result, a lot of these teams at super high levels will go to shops outside of the circle in the chances of no one actually being able to rotate there and pick up what they leave behind. We are going to see Realm of Yangs now start to spawn on up. Are we going to see anyone actually take the fight? Because the risk has increased quite significantly when we moved over to the patch, with one of the biggest changes being that Soul Blooms now have a 2-minute timer. Before, if you wanted to take a Realm of Yang, you would feel confident you would have what we called an insurance clause, because if you want to fight off of drop, you would be able to leave those Soul Blooms. Then if you went into a Realm of Yang, lost the Realm of Yang fight, you would be able to res near those bodies and pick up the Soul Blooms because they would not actually get exhausted. Now there's a 2-minute timer, which means it's a lot more dangerous taking a Realm of Yang for the first one, but especially for the second. When there's less players in the lobby, there's less space, and as a result, the less players that are left are all condensed on top of each other and primed for third parties.
Second Realm of Yang going up, and will HX take the risk and go into their next Realm of Yang? Up to 6 kills. Zyphon, one of those compositions that are kind of in the middle as far as strength. Now, with really, really, really good coordination, you can win Realm of Yang, but it is a big gamble going into the second half. A lot of teams in CN, when lobbies are very, very stacked, choose not to go into the second Yang, but it looks like HX, they were hoping to get a free Realm of Yang, but it doesn't matter. They're willing to take this fight.
Oh, is it a mirror?
It looks like it's going to be a mirror matchup going into this second Realm of Yang. Who is going to take it?
Well, at the moment, none of these sides have invested the effort. That's the first one coming through. Remember, we have 2. Once when the ultimate activates, and the third when the Matari comes through, wins fight on that fan is going to be something that the team has to watch out for. There's the second. Now we have our third free coming into play with that Matari ultimate coming on out. Both of these teams now getting that 50% damage done, getting that as a sustain tool, and you can see the health bar is continuing to increase, even though Wooey goes incredibly low, gets the zip ultimate. Sedated Soul going to be proccing and bailing this side out of what should have been a fatal blow, and now surely it's just going to be cleanup. HX have already been able to take down so many of these players. The parry should be the final nail in the coffin, and now it's just going to be a free versus 1. Make that a free versus none. HX come out on top.
Now looks like DMZ not able to get the focus fire down, and TNB is going to be taking down BWG on that traditional Transformers. Gold armor on the Monk. Where did my man get this gold armor? Aren't we playing Immortal War? Where did this gold armor come from? Is it possible now? Well, how
you can get legendary armor from dealers, yeah.
At this point in the game where they're able to buy the legend, that means they pooled all of their cash in order to dump that gold armor into this Monk instead. And with that range resistance, that health resistance, my man was an absolute unit going into that Realm of Yang. Now TNB, it looks like they are claiming that blue buff, and now they're one of the great parts of being Transformers. With that blue buff, you can deny any type of execution from all these Viper compositions. It looks like YMTQ on the Siphon is going to be making their play against HY over here at Mine. Chili's team in shambles, trying to peel for their Tessa. Viper creating some space, turning around, realizing the focus fire is going to be turning around, but TNQT's Maime is going to get taken down on the Temi. The team tries to fade back and come and help is Temi, but it's a little bit too late. The ones is going to be lost. Grooming Circle is going to be invested. Can the Takeda bring it back? The 5-second stun is not going to do anything with this armor circle. HY still posturing in a touch. We're getting one more shove against the Takeda 3v2 situation. Good job denying all of this damage from the Takeda. The jumping LBs are going to come out, and HY is going to clean this up.
Oh, really good job, like you said, denying all of that pressure from the Takeda. Now, however, they have to deal with the third party coming on through. Crucially, that Wuchen does not have the teleport set up. Actually, yes, we do. There we go. It must have been preset before the fight actually began. Smart plays coming on through from HY. As they had prematurely set up the Witch and Teleport, they see the Zai composition come through, they see the commitment with that F-Ray already being invested. This is DNZ, who had just rolled up under the effects of Yang depletion. They've already used the Zai ultimate, they're still holding on to both the Zip and the Matari, so we are going to potentially get all of that sustain coming back into the mix, as well as another F3 if Zai needs to get out of dodge fast. One last hit of that V2 comes through, doesn't manage to pick up anything. Karumi Teva comes on out for the other team to be able to get the damage reduction. And now we get to the Tianhai ultimate start to follow on up. As a result, the second that DNC see that Matari ultimate into F3 reset, and Azai is gone.
DNZ, a minute and 45 seconds. They need to get this Yang depletion buff. So does BWG. Both of these teams lost in the realm of Yang. DNZ's Jai Chen or Jin Chen looking to get back active, watching this third party going down. Does he find the opening? 25% on his ultimate, is trying to build it up with that cannon shots. TNB on the monk, doing a ton of work and pressure with these grabs going around. Zipping is going to get really low, but he's able to peel out of it. And then a U-shot down to 1 HP, investing his F3 selfishly to try to peel for his team. DNZ down to a minute and 10 seconds. Times are getting desperate. They're able to pick up this 1 kill from TNB, but risk takers are showing up to the party. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. We want some of these kills. I know you got that soul depletion, but we're looking for some kills as well. Risk takers able to scoop up 1 kill and take this reset down. DNZ down to a minute. Can they cure their Yang depletion?
They've got the F3, but they all get hit by the Tesla V1. The F3 comes on through, connecting onto the Tesla team. We're trying to clear the space so we can interact with the soul and then cancel out that stagger. We will be able to do so. Unfortunately, as a result, we now have to clear the space because of the Viper ultimate coming on through. We lock down the Wu Chen. We get the kill. Does Azai get the soul bloom? Yes, we do. Zai gets to come back, and off of that reset, we get the ultimate to come back through as well. Now we have another F3 to get to use, as well as that V2 going to be able to lock down. Dodges the Tesla V1. Takes a lot of damage coming in through from that Hangsword into the guaranteed uppercut follow-up. However, we still have the Matari ultimate. We're going to invest it immediately to get another F3 to chase down where that player has gone, and Predator goes down. DNZ will be able to, from the jaws of defeat, live through the third party, live through the fourth party, and from that pick up the soul blooms necessary to continue on in this lobby.
Up to 5 kills. Remember, Moxie, it's not about the fights you should win, it's the fights that you shouldn't win that defines you as a great team. And DNZ, things are clicking together. Han's at game 3. We're nearing that halfway point of Naraka. Can they transition and close out this game going into endgame? They have everything that they need. They got the gold weapon on the Zai. When you have a gold weapon on a lot of characters in Naraka, it does scale up your ultimate attack. And like Moxie was saying before, for this team, this nice budget team, as long as you put all the investment into that Zai, you can run all of your offense through that and take it to the top. Same thing with HX. Running all of their offense through Wooey with the gold armor, with the gold weapons, but unlike TFZ on the other side, HX always super stacked going to this end games. And I was saying before, HX, it's just a bunch of little things that set these guys up for success going to these end games. They always have the best Jades. They always have the best loot. They're always on the right composition. Just the amount of world experience on this squad. Things are coming together, and they're looking to go through another undefeated season this EU season.
Yeah, especially because like you can see the game plan from the loadout of Sachiko's back, right? Sachiko is on the Zip, who would traditionally play the back position. You want your Zai in first position. Sachiko has Windspout, which is the legendary soul for the fan, which means that we still have ranged. And you can actually see when we pulled open the inventory list for this Zip, 3 fans. So we have backup upon backup upon backup. If we lose a fan off of either getting greedy on the charged RMB or greedy off of our spacing on Wild Windspout, because it is one of those soul jades that, because of the amount of distance, if you parry the Wild Windspout, a lot of the time it's too far away to actually drop the weapon from the player's hands. It just stops the ranged attack from being able to connect onto you. However, it's not counted as a ranged attack, so a lot of these things like Tumult Ultimate, fan attacks just slip directly through, which is another reason why fan is incredibly strong in both solos and trios, as we do have Spirit Well spawning on up. I don't know if we have any Temi teams actually left in this lobby currently, given the fact that I don't currently see a Rising Sandstorm right where the Spirit Well is going to be. I would assume not.
Yeah, Temi teams are usually saved for Holleroth because of the wide open space. On Morris, you don't really need the added benefit of that space creation that Temi provides. Just so much terrain utilized on Morris. There are a lot of terrain situations that you just don't have to worry about. Unlike Holleroth, there are so many different terrain situations that are wide open and flat that you need that Temi to shape it up. And it looks like no sense former teammates of Squeaky and Sachiko is going to get caught out and found in zone. HX finding those little bit of kills rotating into these end games, and we're going to be getting that first key. That end game is about to start. That 80% Moonbane taking up most of the space, everyone forced to the corners, securing their position and waiting this out to see who's going to be coming out on top of EU Trio's Game 3.
Yeah, and as a result, we're going to have all of these teams in the area showing off the legendary soldiers that they have so that they sort of puff themselves up, trying to increase that threat size, which would mean that other teams turn onto other teams and not directly onto them, because when one team gets turned onto, everyone in this lobby is going to turn onto them, which is just smart target prioritization coming through. Work smarter, not harder, as we are going to be Bane surfing in. Okay, that's F2 into V1. Plum finding a gorgeous connection of that silence onto these players, into Tessa V1 follow through as well. And surely YKT are about to go down as every single player in the area breaks out the range and turns on the team stuck in the middle.
Yeah, great job from Bang to not overcommit, going into that Moonbane, risking taking damage. Now, normally when someone gets stunned by that V1, you feel the need to get in there, get the double charge, but range damage onto someone's head when they're standing still, gonna do the same amount of damage. Plum is gonna take a massive amount of damage with the gold armor. It's gonna get shredded down to 1 HP. Wuchenport is gonna come down. Will they be safe though? Does anyone spot their Wuchenport? It looks like we are gonna get a good Wuchenport. HX is going to activate and take advantage with a fourth party onto that third party, though, on the other side of the map.
Yeah, the Witch and Teleport was behind the rock. We do have a no ult zone. It's currently not being popped. Now it is going to be popped, which means that no ultimates are going to be able to come through. As a result, everyone is going to be thinking about whether or not they do want to keep this space or whether or not they want to try and run away. HX Sachiko actually gets hit by, I believe that was a Tessa F2. Not an F1. We do have one team, interesting enough, that has been running that one with that grab potential, trying to chuck in all of these players, scoop them up into one space and lock them potentially down, as Sachiko is also taking damage from Fire Arrow Soldier, connected onto a boat from one of these other teams in the area. It's trying to cover the best that they possibly can for Wooey with that Wild Windspout, acting as a hitbox to block the ranged weapon and splash damage coming on through. The pressure from Bang just forcing that Zip ultimate out early, and as a result, surely we're going to see the engagement. Yep, there it is again. F2 into V1 into Tessa F2, scooping them all together.
Big stun is going to coming out from Plum. Gets a Tessa ult onto Wooey, the 8-second stun. The classic Tessa Viper V1 combo is going to go down, and it looks like Wooey is not going to be able to survive that amount of crowd control with 9 people alive. Bang has set themselves up for success, taking down their main competition. DNZ and HY are left on the outside. Chili trying to survive for his team, setting up, but the Assassin's Lunge is going to be coming out from Plum. Big damage coming out, but the V1 on the other side is going to go down. They make their way into the no ult zone. Nice little bit of cliff cover, and Bang is looking postured to take down this game.
Oh, huge grapple into F2, into uppercut, looking for that confirmation into Assassin's Lunge. Yet again, we're trying to find it. This Viper taking advantage of all of the chaos currently going down. Teams making space with that Aurora burst. Again, we're looking for the charged R&B into Assassin's Lunge forward. We've already been able to force out the Zip ultimate from the other side, but unfortunately, we're going to get hit by a massive hit of the charged vertical on the long shot once we're stuck in the ground stagger. Fortunately for us, Karina's able to bail everyone out. The Wuchen V1 called in, and off of the back of all of the damage that we've done, as well as all of the damage we've taken, we've got another Viper V1. This time we're saving the F2, waiting to see whether or not we're going to be able to find the pressure. The Zai V2 actually catches on to Bang, who overcommitted Raven. They got too close to the corruption, 6 damage, and all of them get scooped up in one fell swoop.
Big error coming out from Bang, trying to chase down the Zai. Good play from the Zai to drag them out of line of sight and dodge the stun. He's able to turn all that pressure into an offensive situation, and it looks like DNZ on the back of Jin Chen is going to be taking down this game 3. So much damage coming out from Jin Chen, up to, I believe, 10 kills. DNZ is going to secure this endgame, and Zyphon Moxie is here to say HY with 12 kills, Bang with 11 kills, but HX with a monster 16 kill game.
time. I'm really interested to see where risk takers are going to drop, right? Off the rip, it does look like we're actually going to see two teams dropping directly on top of Salvation Podium. So potentially we're going to get a Ballista duel coming on through for control of puzzles that you can immediately access legendarily the second the game starts up. In the meantime, Bang have actually spawned just a little bit north of Imperial. They've spawned up into Waterfalls. We can have a look and see there is Ballista that's currently in control. It's always good for one. Sachiko, unfortunately, has already gone down, and you can actually see that Tumult has had to use this combo breaker as well. We're taking a lot of pressure on this Takeda Squeaky. Going to be coming on in. Doesn't use the Wisp just yet. Unfortunately, doesn't have a weapon, so he's looking for the drop down focus melee kick onto the team that were contesting them. But it does look like XP had the better drop. We're able to pick up the actual weapons and also have a player stationed up on Ballista to be able to keep the pressure up.
XP able to beat out HX. Probably the only place where HX is vulnerable off spawn where they can get unlucky with their loot spot. We didn't get to see how Sachiko was going to get taken down, but this landing on this puzzle position, the first team able to get that weapon or claim the Ballista is usually the team that ends up winning this. Now, if you're new to Naraka, at the bottom of this area, there is a bunch of arrows that allow you to open up these puzzles and get that gold weapon guaranteed from there. Now, going back over to Imperium, where the rest of EU has landed, LG is going to get that Moonbane off spawn and take it to Risk Takers. They're getting a taste of their own medicine. Wait a second. Is it Risk Takers? Moonbane? It's someone's Moonbane. It's actually not LG's. Massive amount of action going down in the pyramid. It actually is Risk Takers again. Again, Risk Takers with the Moonbane off spawn. I'm a big fan of this, Moxley.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to say, they have to land somewhere where they're going to immediately be able to get a lot of money, so it's either probably going to be Imperial or City of Tang, and it looks like it was Imperial. So they were able to just very quickly loot, rotate, get towards one of those dealers, pick up a Bane's Breath, and drop it directly on top of the team. And as a result, LGs have so little space to be able to play around with backs into the corner, and he does drop in that Tesla V1. Unfortunately, it is going to be cancelled. I know, a huge parry comes on through. One does get enchanted on the side of TND. They will be able to find the kill off of the back of it, as it does look like we actually have 3 teams all currently contesting this space over in Imperial because they got drawn into Moth to the Fire fashion. That Bane drop getting dropped, and as a result, here comes the third party with the Xiphon.
Third parties non-stop, fourth parties, fifth parties. It's a festival over here in Imperium. Risk Takers again with their tried and true momentum with that Moonbane. It looks like Predator on the Zai is going to get caught out. Bang, but the Transformers, the one counter to the Zai. She can't do anything versus the Transformers. Predator is going to go for a ride. F3 is going to be invested. He's going to deny a lot of that damage, but again, going to get re-grabbed. The chicken fry going down onto Predator. I love hearing that chicken cluck go down.
I love it. It's my favorite skin. It's 100% my favorite skin. Same for the nunchucks as well. I have Dragon's Duet, like perma-locked the second as I got the nunchucks. I was like, okay, yeah, this is always going to be 24/7 locked into my loadout. As 24/7 ensures we're always going to be seeing that pulse of the charged RMB in the air to be able to just melt and mash down on someone's head if you're not expecting it. It's Numi on this Matari. Still has one of those blinks to be able to keep contesting the space of the cannonball composition, but G-Try is incredibly low, and as a result, it does look like the Xiphon assistant will disengage mode.
Team Bang back over at Imperium is going to be re-engaged by LG. Non-stop harassment going on to these Transformers. Now, we're going to get a little bit of a different variation of Transformers. Temi, Kurumi, Monk, instead of that standard Yusha. Now, Risk Predator is going to be coming back in. They don't want to take this fight. They think with their ult advantage, they can take this down. Armor Circle is going to be going down for Bang. They've been fighting for so long. The Soul Blooms giving back their ultimates, and Korean again under a minute is going to have another Yang. Can Predator get out of the situation? A singular tree is going to keep him from life and death, but 2 players are going to jump onto Predator. He's doing his best to survive. He gets over to the high ground, is going to make it out of there. Bang, Korean looking for the grab, is not able to get it. Flying Monk is going to go to the trees, de-transform, and now Bang, for the first time, is going to be on the back foot with no ults to their name.
Yeah, they also had to invest that Kurumi F3 in anticipation of being chased the second the Monk ultimate dropped out. Okay, Numi, we throw those out. We managed to catch up to BGWT's Riemann as well. Sometimes it's actually worth going for the 1Q3. as it is going to be the team managing to mostly clean up. They still have to deal, however, with this Viper charged RMB on this Habits comes on through Tessa V1 as well. Parry, however, is absolutely huge, and off of the back of that space provided, maybe we're able to connect to that soul earner and cancel out the 3 seconds stun. Yes, we are charged back into the zone, managed to absolutely shred through that Tessa, find the kill, and also get ourselves a soul bloom to potentially give Azai back that V2.
Yeah, Pename, Arc, Numinos, and Jixi claiming this right side of the map, getting a nice respawn, pushing BWG off this high yield. 28 people alive. Game 4, still lots of action off spawn. And all these teams transitioning now to this first realm of Yang. HX, Sachiko looking to take on XB. XB pushed HX off their position on the puzzle, but look, it doesn't even matter. They got pushed off puzzle. We still got 3 armors to our name. Still scaled to the moon, and now HX wants to get into that first realm of Yang. Even though they have zero kills, that first Yang really sets you up for success with that siphon, but XB doesn't want to let them get in, wants to take this fight right now. While they're vulnerable, XB goes in and engages onto Wooey. Takeda ults are going to be invested. Temi ults going to be invested. Sachiko forced to pop the V2. They're stuck in the blender of non-stop fan hits. Sachiko wants to get out of the center, see if he can get a nice flank out. Wooey is already popped. They're going to fade out and try to cover each other to recover this situation. Wooey still has another shot to his aim. Is going to get match it with his opponent. Suki has full armor. Needs to peel for Wooey and Sachiko. Sachiko takes to the skies looking for the hit. He's going to get a crouching uppercut onto Hakuda. Temi now down to his last hit. He does have the saving grace, but he's popped now with Squeaky and Sachiko connecting to him. XB now on the back foot. Squeaky gonna find the execution onto him now. Bajin gonna get parried as well. HX on the back foot, able to pull it back together and clean up these kills, getting their revenge on XB.
Oh, huge plays coming in for Sachiko as well, and that's doing such a good job, just like swapping to that fan, scale rushing off of the awning of one of those huts to be able to put himself into a position to drop his F for that low health to mulch, which really saves him and guarantees that it doesn't get turned into a 2 versus 3 situation. And as a result, HX are going to be able to utilize that tempo that we see in trios, one always looking for the parry, one always looking for the focus, and one always looking for that light attack, because YMTQ are currently going to be looking for teams that they can take a fight against in City of Tang. Bad news for them, unfortunately, is that the one fight they potentially could have third-partied has now already ended.
Yeah, XB makes a gutsy play versus HX, and now unfortunately for HX, getting their ultimate stripped from them, going into Realm of the Yang is going to be really risky. Now they can just sit there and wait to go in third. Multiple teams all posturing to go into that Realm of Yang though. Looks like Mado's team with the Zai, Hadi, Karumi showing up, Spooner using Hadi instead of Temi and that cube to get their teams past these Temi situations. It looks like we got a lone Temi in here though.
Oh no, was someone griefed on entrance to Yang? Yeah. 1 kill, 1 Yang win. Oh, that's so unfortunate. That happens a lot of the time, especially with Realm of Yangs. Like, unlike in solos where you need to have a Yang pass now, in trios you can still just go straight through the portal. Unfortunately, it's not as straightforward as that sentence would seem, because a lot of these teams will they'll grief the portal entrances and they'll look to disconnect teams that aren't able to get all 3 of their players in. This Moto is going to go heavily deep in with that F3, immediately finding connection into the V2, into F3 reset, gets all of this damage onto Numi when he's stuck in the air, and that's immediately going to be all of the healing coming on through that Zip ultimate, having to be invested. Both blinks now from the Matari as well, not used for the attack buff, but just to try to disengage and break away so that Mato loses sight of where that Matari has run to. Very wise in terms of pathing as we kite toward all of these tents, which means that we cut line of sight, and the Zai has to figure out where we went and hit ourselves off the traditional way, which means all of this time for the Matari to get away.
Now Mato and Plumeria Spooner locking out in their Realm of Yang, finding a nice kill. Now in a great situation with this Vermilion's buff. Can they find a kill? Running at HX versus HY inside the Realm of Yang. Just a formality, just a cleanup crew. HX still managing to get into Yang. They didn't have ultimates, probably around 70 or 80%, but they trust in their ability to fight. They trust in their ability to diff other teams. They still end up going into Realm of Yang and taking it down.
I mean, they also
already
probably
up
trust
to
in the
6 kills.
legendary pulse sword that they managed to pick up.
DNZ is going to be challenging them coming out. Temi ult's going to be invested. Chili for DNZ in second place, wanting to bring this down, wanting to take their fight to them. Big Perry's going to be coming out, but the Temi all doing a ton of work. The bolts were coming through. Squeaky trying to find and connect to the zipping, but he is going to get flanked by the enemy. Takeda trying to make his way out. He's going to get knocked down. 1 HP left. Sachiko really low too, but they've been in the spot before. They found ways to come back. Overhold's going to come down. Now Squeaky popped, vulnerable to the hit, but he's still able to get that F1, forcing out the V2. Sachiko against the ropes is going to be taken down. DNZ seems to be getting the best of this situation. Will Sachiko go for the salty rest? 2v3 situation. Can Wooey and Squeaky bring this back? Squeaky with a double hop, scale rushing through, looking to flank and give an opener for Wooey. He's not able to. DNZ is going to take this down, and now Squeaky with the formality going to get that one charge, look for a kill. He's not able to. Decisive play from DNZ to camp out and wait for HX to come out of Realm of Yang.
Yeah, and you can tell as well, like, when the plan changes to, okay, just make sure you don't lose your weapon, because the Tumult stops actually committing the focus hits on that pulse sword, swaps to the nunchucks, only then let's lose the blue. So if we get parried, it's only going to be the purple rarity nunchucks that we lose, and not that legendary pulse sword. As when you respawn with a million Birdsmite buff, you get to keep all of your gear, unless it gets parried out of your hand before you go down. As we're going to see HY now come on through Tumult ultimate being invested, trying to lock down this Xiphon composition charge RMB, and those halberds going to be creating so much of the space. The Takeda coming in with the F as well to punish if you try and clank and stop that one in motion as it charges on up. LMB attempted to come in for Tumult as well, and there's the parry! This time around, we don't have the Takeda to be able to cover for us. Huge double parry coming in from the Xiphon's composition team, and we're actually going to see the Kurumi now having to invest the V2 to keep everyone topped up. We've still got the recast, however, Raven, so we are kiting away from where the ultimate is. We're still going to have it in play if we get challenged.
HY with the Yang solution, 2 minutes left. They got the buff, they have the urgency. YKZ is going to get taken down by LYJZ now with a 1v3 situation. Pename jumping LMB repeatedly by these spears. Nowhere to go, and HY showing exactly why the Sand Siphon comp has been the most dominant comp for 2 years in Naraka. Doesn't matter, they have GI depletion. They win out that scenario, taking down the new Xiphon composition.
Yeah, it's so smart to utilize the dual halberds and like how fast that RMB, how far that RMB comes out as well to force you into eating all of that damage from the connection of the Takeda F if you want to make sure that you don't get caught out by it. As well as the fact, if those are just jumping LMPs on the spear, we've all been up against them. If you lose your teammates, there's absolutely nothing stopping the team from just being able to fully lock you down with that stagger. As risk data's a little bit more of a risk now for them, given the fact that they're still all on blue armors. We can head back and have a look and see where exactly Vijin's team has found themselves. They are currently looking at another team. I believe this is HX. That they are currently looking at. No one has fully engaged just yet. It's just the poke phase at the moment, as this team that are all on blues wants to get a better feel for the team that they're up against in terms of where their loot is. It's been long enough in the game, and especially on Holoroth here as well, that there is potentially going to be a lot of those weapon and armor upgrades for a lot of these teams, and it seems like Vijin just wanted to try and bully the other team off of that space so they can control the entrance to a Realm of Yang and look for an immediate upgrade off a win.
XP, Vijin, Wenshen, they've been here before. Scuffed in this situation as blueberries, but they managed to make it to this endgame. Will they take their talents to Realm of Yang? Some of the best fighters in the game, but 3v3 is another beast when it comes to that team play. Can these talented solo players show that they belong in trios as well? Taking this 3v3 Yang fight, we see the Zipping warming up the movement. Vijin ready to go at it, zipping one of the prio targets in the mirror matchup.
Oh,
It's usually zipping who goes down first when it comes to this mirror match, and unfortunately for them, they are going against the undefeated squad of HX. 1 second to go. Who is going to take down this second realm of Yang?
HX have that legendary pulse sword as well, keeping that one in the back pocket. We can see that Smudge looking to try and find a lot of the stagger onto the Takeda, already forcing the Takeda ultimate out. However, huge parry comes on through the Smudge now, forced into investing both the ultimate and the combo breaker, looking to try and set up all of this damage, cleaving on through with that pulse sword. Zip ultimate still held on for Bajine's side, as we can see the battered Takeda getting much more spacing with these Fury shots connecting onto everyone on Bajine's team, as a huge Dragon Slayer attempted to immediately get parried. Immediately, that's almost losing a lot of that damage. And we're going to see Wui now getting all of this damage off of the fact that that Smudge got caught up into the Wisp, swap over to the Fan Foresight, the charged R&B to be able to connect onto multiple players stacked behind that Smudge. The 1-2 light confirmed coming on through as we go into a 1 versus 2. Every single person trying to play to have a numbers advantage in the 1 versus 1, but unfortunately it's now just Kaku who's going to be left trying to survive against HX's team. Swaps over to that spear, tries to go for the Scarishes, gets grapple locked onto before he can charge up another one. Flashes the red, is not able to time the parry, and as a result they're going to lose, and HX continue the undefeated reign of terror.
Really close fight. I gotta give Madden XP for going on execute onto Wui, but Wui has been position 1 for years in Naraka. He is the one target you do not want to focus fire. He lives and breathes being focus fired by 2-on-1, and with Takeda having the most amount of tools, he's able to survive that big burst damage. Great job from Sachiko, great job from Squeaky to provide that peel for Wui, but with that presence in mind, we saw non-stop parries from Wui, denying that big burst to end his life, absorbing all that damage. And it's one of the tough parts of why most of the modern strategy does not go for Takeda anymore. Now on the outside though, Spooner and Bumero and Mato on this off meta comp, looking to pull an upset versus HY. Zai ult's gonna be invested. Mato getting that hits up, but the Temi ult plus the Takeda ult gonna come down. Nice E usage for that Hottie, getting him out of there, but Plumeria is not able to survive the giant burst that is this Sand Siphon. Now Spooner in a 1v3 situation. Can he survive and make it to this end game?
Yeah, HY with that Kurumi just gets to play so much more aggressive when the Every Tether is in play, with that damage reduction up and available for that Takeda. Fury and Shells all going to be exhausted just now, but the damage has for the most part been done. They just have to worry about this Zai V2 now coming on through. That third party has been particularly brutal. However, they kept a hold of that Kurumi ultimate in the back pocket. Will be able to sit in this with all of that cleanse effect. So if they do get hit by that Zai V2, they're going to be able to immediately cleanse the fire tick damage coming on out. Chili's going to drop the Tumult ultimate so we can isolate these targets that comes on through. We will be able to potentially find the kill onto Creditor. However, a huge parry comes on out. Zai can still parry inside her ultimate, and unfortunately that parry has turned the tables against HY.
HY's LYJZ is going to survive with 1 HP. The Hottie ult coming out of nowhere. What was that? I saw someone just come flying in with a spinning attack. There's a flying Hottie trying to assassinate this 1 HP, and Creditor is going to take him down. What is this? We got another Hottie Zai Kurumi comp. There's another weirdo comp running around risk takers with the Hottie, but it's working out for them. They are up to 8 kills. They find that nice third party. They find all of this delicious loot. That's a big thing about these Siphon compositions, because they're so loot heavy. If you're able just to assassinate the Takeda, usually the concentration of loot is on that character.
Yeah, especially because like it's so important for a different reason actually for the Transformers than it is for the Sand Siphon with the Takeda, and that's because your ultimate actually scales. You can go from purple to golden, but it scales off of all of your team's loot, not just the one person's loot. So a lot of the time when you go against Transformer teams, you're only going to be able to pick up one loot upgrade from something like a Tianhai or a Yue-chan. If you go up against the Sand Siphon composition and you've got the Takeda, every single one of those 3 players is going to be running as high a tier of loot as possible to be able to push and prop up that Takeda ultimate into being as most devastating as it possibly can. As TMB are going to be able to find the cleanup, putting themselves up to, I believe, that is 5 kills now on the board for the Tesla team.
Yeah, TNB looking super scaled up on the Tessa Viper. Now, all of the strongest teams on their siphon composition, one of the things you can do as one of the weaker teams is play the third party situation. You don't have to take this fair 3v3. You can take the unfair 3v3. There's no such thing as etiquette when it comes to battle royale. It is the person who comes out on top, the team that gets the most amount of kills, does the most damage, walks away with that MVP. And Risk Takers again taking an engagement versus YMTQ. Zai ult gonna be investing on Predator. Trust him, popping that Kruger ult just in case, and finally the Hottie ult is gonna come down. What can you do from this amount of pressure? Maybe this composition can work, Moxie. I'm curious to see what kind of counters his strategy. I imagine Temmie is a tough break, but with the Hottie cube, as long as you get the Kurumi out of that situation, Zai can definitely pop that F3, go fly straight to the sky, just like Justina. And it looks like Risk Takers were baiting those bodies over there for any team trying to show up and loot up those bodies while they sit there and wait to get their ultimates back up.
Well, not just like the Hardy and the Zai having the ability to be able to dodge out of the Smelch ultimate, Kurumi can just like teleport out with our F3. Right, so that might be a reason why we've got the Kurumi instead of the Zip for these teams that are running the Zai with the Hardy. Something else to remember as well is that well, actually they don't have the Matari, so it wouldn't have two casts of the Kurumi F. That would be absolutely insane coming on through in terms of reposition power. But we are going to start to see some of these teams slow it down a little bit. TMB do have a couple of purple soldiers. The big one is going to be Vajra's Grip, which means that if you get parried twice, you get to be able to retain a hold of your weapon. Unfortunately, there is a hefty stagger animation that you have to go through to be able to take advantage of that one, as it looks like HX. I don't know what level their Takeda ultimate is on. I would assume it's gold by now, especially because we has legendary armor. Sachiko and Spooky both having purple weapons and purple armor as well. Should definitely push that Takeda's ultimate to the highest level that it could potentially be, as we do have a bounty scroll currently on the field, which would explain why HX are starting to head into that position, as well as wanting to try and cap the Spirit Well and make sure that not only do they pick up this loot, they also deny it for all of these other teams. Weapon and soldier of choice for the defense of this one is actually going to be Dreadful Whale on the dagger. So we have Aurora Burst that we know is in current possession of the Zai Hardy Kurumi team. And we have Dreadful Whale that we know is going to be up and available for the Sand Cyclone.
Yeah, I'm surprised that only 13 players are left alive. A lot of the Takeda teams going too aggressive here on Holoroth. Like, you don't need to force any of these kills transition to the end game. If the other team gets the best of it off spawn, you still can play for that blue armor and have a ton of success going in the end game. Forcing kills is one of the quickest ways to get 0 kills going into these end games with 13 people alive. Again, HX surviving, losing their off spawn, and showing up big. They're probably the favorites to close out and take this endgame. Risk Takers, though, Hottie and Volt activated, going for this Viper. Now, this is one of the teams that I think is a problem matchup for this. How do you deal with the potential of this Viper silence?
Well, it's not going to be the silence, it's going to be the V1 at the moment that they have to deal with, and the answer to that is you scatter. Unfortunately, one of them will not scatter far enough. Risk Lucio just takes the full hit of the first stage of the R&B on that pulsar focus attack. We are going to start to see the Bane's Breath as well come through, so that's going to be an additional layer of danger. There's no sense we'll be able to have the common sense of dodging out of that AoE. We'll be able as well to find the grapple lockdown onto this Takeda, trying to follow up that Phantom Step into the F2 connection onto the Takeda. Does make it particularly brutal. However, it does look like TMB, because of that Bane's Breath coming on through, know that they don't want to overextend and instead put a little bit of pressure on the Takeda and then back off to fully recharge.
Nice tap dodge from Wenchen. The double tap dodge able to iframe perfectly that Tessa ultimate. If he gets Tessa ultimate inside that Moonbane, my man was for sure dead. TNB not able to find
Raven,
out that kills.
did Creditor just go down to Bane's Breath?
It won't surprise me that Creditor was trying to focus attack of Moonbane's Breath and got taken down, but TNB, no sense. Up to 8 kills. One of the world's players switching over to his team, finding Rustum out. LMB coming out, the old newbie attack. Classic. If it's not broke, don't fix it. Rustum is going to get taken down, trying to hide behind that rock. 10 people left alive, but HX already up to 9 kills themselves. They want to just close out this game. They know how important these next couple kills and playing this correctly, but they've been here a million times before, undefeated, showing up. Squeaky with that slow shot, trying to line up the shots, but you see such disciplined play coming from HX. They don't force situations. They let the games come to you. If you all in them, they're willing to let you know that they're going to win that situation too. But again, playing out this situation perfectly, leveraging every piece of utility to their advantage.
Yeah, well, we know that they also have one extra piece of utility, which is going to be while the wind spout on that fan, so they themselves have a legendary sword to sit on top of as well. You can see as well that, like, Squeaky, if he managed to find that connection onto a player with slow shot, he was looking potentially for the wisp into ultimate isolation lockdown. Doesn't manage to find it, and like you said, has the restraint back on off. So there are a lot of teams in the area, and you do not want to all in with the Smolch ultimate as your starter, because the second that's gone, everyone is going to turn and look at you. Speaking about everyone turning and looking at you, unfortunately, everyone turns and looks at XB's Wenchan, who does go down to HY. Chili is able to claim that one with the bow, as we do know that the team currently that Squeaky is looking to play against does have access to Aurora Burst. There it is coming on through, and unfortunately the Smolch finds out a little bit too late. He gets sent all the way into the zone.
Squeaky, a little bit of an overextension right now. Temiel is going to be coming out. Can he make it out of here? Sachiko and Wooey come in with the savior, able to peel off that situation, but now HY Chili seeing the overextension of HX. That Aurora Burst putting Squeaky in a bad position, but still HX is able to stabilize with only 9 people in the lobby. They are nice and steady with that Dreadful Whale on top of the roof. No one can really force his contention without abilities, but it looks like YMTQ Zai comes over there with the F3, and it looks like because of that ult investment, the other team is able to take down the dome and get that extra loot going into this last leg of the endgame.
Yeah, Squeaky gets all of the armor resources dropped for him by the rest of his team. Now goes back trying to hold up rooftop position. Pressure with the musket, grapples up, tries to put that pressure onto Bijin, doesn't manage to find the shot, and as a result backs on off. We're utilizing that combo breaker of the F to just give ourselves a little bit of height, try and lock someone down into the wisp so that everyone turns onto that player instead, and as a result HX are able to recoup their forces, specifically Sachiko, who was going incredibly low. Windspite is going to come through from this team as they do get challenged into a close quarters fight, and as a result they throw that one out. Don't overcommit, just go back to repositioning so they don't get locked down and seen as vulnerable by everyone else in the lobby.
Squeaky now looking for that flank fight. His Wisp have been on point all day, peeling for Wooey, setting Wooey up for a lot of success, and that flanking angle is so key to winning these situations. But HX doesn't have high ground for the first, and the other team with the Viper, I believe, on the high ground, posturing to possibly make a play right now. HX making sure that they stay safe, stay with a piece of line of sight, picking off these solos and duos stuck on the low ground. No Temi ult being invested, but HX is Wooey with that flamethrower. He's going to pick that kill up. 7 people left alive. Bijin, solo of his team, trying to survive on the ground, trying to find that placement point. One more team to fade up if he wants to secure that placement, but on the high ground, I believe this is DNZ holding the high ground. Oh, TNB is holding the high ground.
Yeah, they have the Aurora Burst. Like, you can see that all of these players, they know that they can't actively challenge it, otherwise they go directly into that silence. And as a result, TNV's Tizzy is just going to throw that one out constantly on repeat. The only way that you can parry this one is if you catch the white flash of the character before all of those swords drop into the ground. Now we're going to be dropping directly onto the ground, and unfortunately Tizzy, having given up that space, is suddenly vulnerable. All of these players can interrupt before the Aurora Burst is fully charged up. We're going to grapple back onto the high ground so that we can find the recovery. Tessa F1 is going to come through to be able to knock everyone down. Another charge up of the Aurora Burst should be able to knock all of these players in the middle into the corruption take damage, and they're going to follow it up with that Tessa V1 catching onto everyone who's like prone.
V1 gonna be invested. The last little bit of the circle going down. Wooey with the shoves, trying to claim the center right now. Tesla ult tries to go down, but good ult from Squeaky, denying that for initial part of the Tesla ult. Wu Chenport is gonna go down all the way into the center, but the flamethrower of Wooey is gonna do a ton of damage. No sense. His team looking poising to take this down and take down this first place with 13 kills. TNB able to clutch it down with that great utility play.
Risk takers immediately picking up those bane traps. Someone has realized the strategy and is going to look to counter it. As we can see immediately, it's going to be very much deja vu of that first game of Holoroth. Two teams dropping onto Salvation, and almost immediately it's going to be blood from either side, with one of those teams managing to make it on top of Blister.
YMQT Metab, just a ocean of player names. Everyone hot dropping here, hoping to pick up a really big round XP over here at Plume Castle with OPG and crew. Can they find this win off spawn? Nado's gonna be stuck in a 1v3 situation. He's able to take down Kafu, but he's gonna get traded out. Moonbait is gonna be coming down. Ooh, it is the Moonbait. It's not these two teams. It's another
Is
team.
it Risk Takers?
I'll have to see. There's so much movement coming down from Wenchen trying to survive the situation. Looking back, it is Risk Takers Predator on top of them. They have had Moonbait off spawn every single game within the first 20 seconds. I'm a big fan. Finding these kills off spawn is key to setting yourself up for success already again. They have enough for a second Moonbait. Ready, setting it up. Finding that Plume Castle third party, great job coming out from Risk Takers.
Yeah, I feel like if we see a Bane's Wrath like this early in the game, you have a 95% chance, even before you see the team, of just being like, yeah, it's probably Risk Takers. As TMB will be able to win the fight off drop onto Matop, which means that they get all of the loot into the surrounding areas, potentially getting to kite over towards Jin's armor, as we can see. That Risk Takers are still taking a fight inside Plumed at the moment, or rather we're seeing teams potentially thinking about reviving. There was Soul Altar forms running around about just there in the middle of that main building. And Risk going to be going back over to the dealers. Are they going to purchase another charm, or are they just using it to pick up that craft hammer and change their weapon?
Oh, with this amount of money, you can set up transitioning if you want to play that Realm of Yang for the purple armor, or in this case, trying to scale up your bag weapon swaps for your Takeda. A big part of the Sand Siphon composition is getting a ton of weapon rarity for your Takeda, so we can get up to that purple ultimate at minimum. Ideally, you want to get to gold, because then it is pretty much a guaranteed win in that first Realm of Yang. Gold Takeda ult is practically 4v2 stuns now. Looking over there, we're able to find Nado's team rezzing a little bit close to Plume Castle, eating this second fight from Risk Takers. Tevion's going to be invested. Shum's going to be coming out from Predator. Plume, Maria in a tough position. She's already going to be popped. Again, all this team is trying to finish her off. The peel from Zai is trying to come out. Plumeria still has multiple people on her. She is going to go down. Predator really close to going down, but the Zai with the zippings, V2 able to keep up Predator. Temion's going to be coming down from Spooner to peel for himself. He is going to run for the hills, run to Plume Castle. Can Team Risk Takers close out this last kill?
Oh, he didn't ring the bell when he disengaged Raven. Risk Takers are able to ring the bell, get a read on what he potentially has around. Looks like they don't actually want to overextend, however. They understand that there's a lot of loot in this area that has been as yet unpicked. There's a lot of destructibles that they can run through to be able to pick up even more money and potentially buy themselves another Bane's Breath, or like you said, look to pick up those purple weapons, look to pick up those purple armors, set that Takeda up to have the best advantage going into first Yang, because they did not drop Salvation Podium, so they know that there was a contest on Salvation Podium. I would assume that Salvation Podium has been solved, considering it was, I believe it was HX and Bang were the two teams that contested that space off of drop, and there were team kills that came through from it. We can have a look at BWG, who are running the Xiphon compositions. They coming in with that V2, looking to push all of these players outside of the Kurumi healing circle. won't be able to find a kill, will get the Matari ultimate. Now you see Kurumi trying to tether one of these players. They might be able to actually find the revive, as another hit of that V2 is going to come through. The Kurumi now is the one that is going to get targeted down. Crucially, the tether's still been attached, and I think that might have been able to be enough to bring that player back.
Last hit point situation. Their Takeda still holding their ground. No sense is going to get it taken down. Bokai with the fan is going to get it taken down. They did get the res, but they are just feeding one more kill. 2v1 situation. Can this Temi find the win? He is going to get a juggle. Jumping LMBs coming down. The light attacks are coming down. Nowhere left to go. BWG is going to close this out up to 6 kills. Hopefully, can keep up this momentum and bring back this tournament. This is the first step. Those first 2 kills are critical to setting up for this second half of the game. Mid-game is coming up. Will BWG try to take the very risky first Yang fight?
I mean, they don't even have the one purple armor needed to help that Zai be a little bit tankier. Risk also not running any purple armor themselves. They've got purple weapons in the hand, however. And it does look like they're currently chasing after, I believe this is YMTQ. Currently off into the distance, repeating crossbow and bow shots just coming through, trying to chip away before the fight properly begins. We're going to see the charged R&B on that Hangsword trying to connect as they drop down on top of the Zip's head. Camel ultimate as well might going to be invested as immediately the Xiphon composition puts themselves directly into the middle to try and scoop all of these players in with the V2. They don't care about being stuck out in the Tumultuous ultimate if everyone is still playing on the inside of it. And as a result, the burn is going to hit Rostram, and he has to back off to be able to get all of the heal necessary.
He barely dodges the flying meteor of the Zai and the Kurumi, and they're going to connect to Rustam. Rustam has to survive right now. He is burning, going to get taken down. Now a 2v3 situation. It's up to Takeda to find this situation and bring this back. Everyone's going to be ready. He has no more shoves to his name. He is going to get the slam. Parry's going to come out. Takeda's going for a ride. Lucio now with the flank. Can he bring this back for his team? The V2 on the zipping is going to be keeping YMTQ nice and healthy. 2v3 situation. Lucio trying his best to bring this back. Risk baiters, risk takers, not with the Moonbane, is going to be taken down by YMTQ.
Huge turnaround coming through from YMTQ. Managing to get that kill onto the support was absolutely huge. Unfortunately, it did cost them all of their ultimates in the process, so probably not going to be taking a Realm of Yang fight for this team. As we can have a look and see that there is a Transformers team currently on the field, even though when actually Holoroth was coming first into the forefront of Naraka as a new map, everyone sort of theorized that we wouldn't see Transformers on this map because you had such a low chance of the final zone being favorable. You had a much higher chance of these final zones being on verticality, which unfortunately is not the greatest terrain for the Tian Hai to be able to play in. It has since become a little bit easier to pull off, given all of the buffs that Tian Hai has received, especially the fact that he can now jump and reposition during his ultimate, as opposed to running into a cliff and having to cancel it early to be able to grapple up.
Now, going into this first Realm of Yang, we got a Draco Storm as a speared wall. It's always, I always find myself struggling to be like, we could risk going Realm of Yang, or we could just get Draco Storm and kill everyone with it. The problem with going Realm of Yang versus when there's a Draco Storm on the field is that you have to go a different buff to get your ultimates back. If you play for Draco Storm and you get that uncontested, you actually have a free farm for everyone on the outside. But first, BWG, before that Realm of Yang, contesting HX. This is a big fight for the tournament. It's a mirror matchup. Wooey versus Zay. Zay is going to be moving in and out, trying to dodge it, but Wooey has his eyes for him, going for the crowd control, not letting him influence the fight. Zay down to a last hit. It's going to be tap dodging Rexon and Yeoman taking a ton of pressure, and Squeaky is going to be coming in with the flank, with the pulse sword, and Zay is going to get his legs chopped from under him. It looks like HX is going to get the best of BWG. Now we have inside the Realm of Wang, HY versus XB. Temi ult is invested. Chaos is ensuing. BG on the Kurumi, absolutely surrounded by Team HY. Who's going to come out on top? All ultimates are going to be invested, Moxie.
Except the V2. Kanghai is still holding on to the armor circle to be able to keep the entire team tops on up. Once these ultimates run out, we're gonna throw it down now. As a result, we have the much better sustain, and this should be HY having held on to that one, able to just clean up. And there it is. Really good restraint coming in through from this team. As over in the other realm of Yang, we do have the Transformer team taking it. Not sure which composition they are currently up against. Oh, it looks like it's the Xiphon composition actually, because that is the Matari V3 coming on through the full invisibility, making it a little bit harder for the TNI to try and find the space for these grabs onto the players. As a result, it's just going to be up to the zoning control coming on through on the floor from both the Yueshan and that Kurumi with that staff, looking to make sure that no one is able to get underneath the Monk's speed and absolutely melt him with something like a pole sword. As the Kurumi still has that F3, is now going to invest it. 20% damage reduction and moves up to 90% for the next 4 seconds with that tether being broken. And as a result, we should be able to tank all of the damage coming through.
DNZ, double Transformers, showing exactly why they are a Transformers team. Now, unfortunately for this Kurumi, he is going to get taken down by the pulse suppressor. Bang is bringing this back in the second half. Yushan ult is going to bait out. Can they find the kill right now? Plum able to survive with that Kurumi, or with that Matari blinking out of that situation, but we're going to get a second Monk ult inside Realm of Yang. Plum is going to get taken down. 2v2 situation. And
7 seconds.
The Monk is going to get grabbed. Can we finish off Revelia in time? Revelia, tap dodge, one, double grieve is going to go down. The fight goes the distance. Neither team can find the win.
Oh, that is so tragic. I thought maybe you're going to be able to do enough damage and have enough stagger on the grind slam to lock them in to the follow-up charge R&B on the Harvest, but it's just not quite enough to be able to land the final hit necessary. And as a result, both teams are struck down by Yang depletion. On the Idle World, however, we do have one of these teams who has been able to win. Million Birds Might is in play currently for HY. They've already lost one of their players, but Smudge hasn't gone down as that Zai V2 is absolutely lethal. So we're going to see the Kurumi Tether now coming into play. 90% damage reduction. That's Takeda trying to play aggressively into the space that has been provided, but we get locked into the light attack stagger coming on through from that spear, and this should be a reset moment from HY.
Now, this is what I was saying. If you get the Draco Storm uncontested, no ultimates, you just get to free farm the Yang teams coming out, denying any of their advantage. If they go out with Red Buff, that is not an advantage. If they go out with Tiger Buff, they are still going to lose versus Draco Storm, and you can eliminate them from the game. The Draco Storm Spirit Well, a finesse that you can do in that mid game. Now, Team XP, Yang depletion, 2 minutes left against at odds versus DNZ. Can they find the win back? Wenshin and Temi ult already invested right now. They need to capitalize on this. Bang, Matari, Revelia trying to fade away, trying to get out of this situation. The shelves are coming out. Revelia getting juggled, and now Wenshin making his way back in, trying to switch targets right now. Kurumi ult's gonna be invested, slowing down the fight, but Predator coming in hot, trying to peel for his team. But Wenshin again with the parries non-stop. Wenshin confused of what's happening. Wait a minute, there's a Monk here. It's DNZ showing up with the third party.
Oh, the pulse swing! The catch! The pulse hit onto Wenshin as he hits the ground means that he just takes so much damage in such a short fashion. He'd already received the Kurumi F3 when the fight had broken out against the first team, and as a result, the Kurumi doesn't have it to supply the Takeda and make sure that he can tank all of that hit. As a result, now it's going to be DNZ moving into the team that the Takeda composition was currently fighting. Yushin Ultimate is still going to be available as well because they did not need to use it to be able to cover for when the Hanai dropped out of that ultimate. Kurumi taking a little bit of a hit, goes into the no ult zone, making sure that we can keep up the pressure on this Zai. And it does look like, yeah, there's the activation of Poison Splash. That is the Zai going to be brought down. And off of the back of that, surely that should be DNZ able to find most of the Solblins. Unfortunately for them, I don't think they got a full team wide. And as a result, one of them is still missing the Solblin.
HX continuing their tear, already up to, again, 7 kills. Ooh, nice F3 coming out from Wooey, putting my man into the montage. LG Andy getting juggled by the Meteor coming out from Wooey on the Zai. Now, last remaining members of LG being chased down, and with this Plume Castle, in one of the best infinite kite spots on the map. It's pretty much impossible to die right here. Finding kills, especially chasing someone with the slow nunchuck scale rush, gonna be impossible. But HX, in their slight vulnerable state, again, the little details. Even though they invest all their ultimates, they find a kill. There's Yang depletion situations on the outside. They're doing it next to a safe location where they cannot get eliminated.
Well, the opposite of safe location is fighting inside corruption 6 damage against a team that I think have Yang depletion at the moment. As we're going to see Zyphon come through, the F3 not connecting onto Chili. This is like he can sit in with those dual habits, comes out with that combo breaker looking to try and find a wisp. Actually manages to land onto one of the team inside that material to make him invisible, not incorporeal, and as a result the Sand Siphon have more than enough damage and CC to be able to nullify all of the threat of the Zyphon in a matter of moments.
Yeah, I still feel like Takeda composition does beat Zyphon. You just have to play it correctly. The fact that it doesn't have a gold F, Zai doesn't have a gold F, these are very, very vulnerable to a very coordinated attack. But Chili down to 1 HP is gonna get hit by the Whisk. Lucio with the clutch Whisk, able to take down Chili. Big plays coming out from Lucio, now securing the lead in a 3v2 situation. They still have the Temiol, they still have the Zipping. Are they going to be able to clean it up with all their resources? They're struggling to find where the last player is. They want to guarantee that no sneaky little bit of res is going to come out, but this is a difference between getting 1 kill versus 3 kills. Great disengage coming out from HY, but it looks like they're going to be picked off by Sachiko's team lurking on the side, finding the scuffed duo of HY.
Ooh,
disengaging from this fight.
I mean, we're probably not going to see it because it's one of the easier to parry soldiers attached to a weapon, but it is still quite nice in terms of being able to catch on to your movement rotations, especially when you have the extreme pole sword, because it changes the appearance of the pony. As we're going to have a look now and see, this is the Transformer team yet again going up against a Siphon composition. This is one of, unfortunately, the compositions that Transformers have historically struggled against, given the fact that Rostam does not need line of sight to be able to keep everyone healed up when the Zip ultimate comes through. However, that is a slam into a Aurora burst, which means that Risk does not want to take any risk against going up against this team. They do not want to get slammed into being silenced.
Now, Risk Takers manages to salvage this game, bring this back from the depths. Already up to 8 kills right now on the traditional Sand Siphon, showing that they can do it with the normal composition too. But over at Plume Castle, still Team HX, gold armor again onto Wooly, scaled to the moon. This team always, the little details stacking up, giving them this huge advantage. And again, 19 players alive going into this end game. We're not even close to end game right now. It's 13 minutes left, and still a ton of teams overcommitting, overinvesting, and finding themselves not able to compete going for this endgame. It's like TNB finding Spooner right here, and the top of this mountain looking down. It's lonely at the top for HX, just with a huge lead. They're looking to coast this in and secure this trio's spring challenge win.
Oh, huge Wisp connection from Spooner. Unfortunately, he is alone. He's already lost Mado and Plumeria, and as a result, it's just full disengagement mode from the Tumult. If there had been follow-up Raven, potentially we got a Chandelier kill. Because they were all stuck in that CC, and that Chandelier was right there hanging above their heads like a guillotine. But unfortunately, it does not to be. Spooner takes the smart decision instead of the flashy one, and will play for survival. Not sure how many kills the team has picked up, but he definitely wants to make sure that the multiplier is going to make them count. We've got 1 grapple left, so we're going to put ourselves underneath Salvation Podium so we can use those walls and just scale rush around, as well as making it a little bit harder for teams to be able to commit onto us, even though you can get spotted out of your position with the bell on top of the puzzle itself. The funny roller patrolling the rotation around the lower half does mean that some of these teams are a little bit reluctant to go and chase down stragglers that try and hide out in that location. Reluctant, but not entirely deterred, however. As it looks like HI had the exact same idea. We might have a Spider-Man point meme moment here, Raven, as a lone Takeda and a lone Tumult walk into a bar and almost walk into a phony roller.
Wait a minute. HY only has 1 player down here, and he's with here with XB and a Spooner kiting over here. both of them trying to fight for their lives, playing for placement right now, but multiple teams rotating into this area. TNB on the outside, this underground area with the fan. Very, very easy to kite. The Cicada trying to survive, able to dodge the roller here and there. Weakness is the shadow corruption is building up, but as long as he has some white heals, he's able to cut noise and find his way out of this situation.
Yeah,
17 grapples to his names.
TNB are waiting on the actual point where corruption disappears to see if there's any stragglers.
Looks
and
like they found someone else.
They miss, they miss him and they see someone else. This is Bijin, I believe. It's Bijin that they're tracking.
And this is one of the tough parts as Sand Siphon versus Viper compositions or Cannonball. If no one on your team has any type of grapple distance, you're definitely not catching someone with grapple distance. You basically have short, stubby arms like a T-Rex, while as you go and chase this flying Velociraptor getting away from you. It is super impossible to catch someone with max grapple, max speed when it comes to these cleaning up duos and solos going into this endgame.
Oh yeah, when you have that grapple speed, like you are just a homing missile chasing after some of those players that are looking to disengage. As TNB have spotted, well, Spooner's in the area, but they're not turning onto Spooner at the moment. It's going to be a Takeda that they find instead. Grapple trying to come through and lock down this tumult, forcing out the ultimate to come on down. And as a result, we're actually going to see Tizzy finding that isolation onto LYJZ and taking them down and out of the lobby. In the meantime, Spooner is given an absolute gift right now, Raven, because TNB turn onto these two lone players and he gets to just keep creating even more distance between himself and the other team.
Yeah, unlucky for HY. They finally find that res only to just donate it to the rotating team. Now Archimedos in Creamy Circle going to be invested. Pename trying to keep his team alive right now. Takeda ult's going to be invested. Triple ult's going to go down. They need to find a kill right now because they have no ults to their name. Jigsaw with the Takeda trying to find and connect to this Temming Risk Predator trying to get out of here. What F1 is going to be popping up. The damage is intense, so B2 from the zipping already going down. Stun is going to come out in the middle. Jigsaw going to be under pressure right now. Risk Takers surviving the initial burst, able to turn this round and immediately focus fire, taking Numenos down and Jigsaw. Yeah,
huge parry comes through from this team. Would love to see what soul jades they have available, because I saw a Hepta go off in that fight, and now that they have a longsword at their beck and call, especially with the Takeda. This is one of, before we had things like the pole sword. Oh, there we go. Thanks, Prod. It is going to be the Hepta attached to this Takeda. And this is actually one of the weapon metas that we saw a lot of the time when Takeda like first released. Because we didn't have things like the pole sword or the fan in play. Longsword was one of the best follow-up weapons to play off of the stagger set into motion by the Furin shoves coming through. You could use your ultimate, use that knockback to be able to push and confirm one of those shoves, and then one of those shoves could confirm the follow-up into something like either a Heartstoppers from a spear, or indeed a Hepta lockdown from that longsword. So definitely keep your eye on that one. If Risk takes some of these fights and it's on the low ground on the flat, then that Hepta is going to be coming through and doing a lot of work. And it's also not really a soldier that a lot of these people are probably going to be expecting, because teams most likely to control areas like Spirit Well are going to be prioritizing high AoE legendary soldiers. So the things like Merciless Havoc on the staff, Dreadful Wail on the dagger, and obviously Aurora Burst on the Hangsword as well.
HX again rotating over, already up to 12 kills going to this last leg of the round. Game 5, clutching it up. Everyone in the lobby needed HX to have a bad game if they're hoping to take this coveted first spot, but HX wisely have their rotations dialed in, playing that Ballista situation. If you're going to finish them off, it's going to take multiple teams to get them out of their secured location. It looks like Risk Takers is going to be securing their position on the left side with this staff silence. And big shot coming out from Satchko. Mid-air Ballista shots going down, and DNZ's Monk is able to survive that 1 HP, able to get the ultimate off. The Moonbane is going to come down, reshaping the battlefield, and one grab is going to go down from the Monk. Tough situation. Aurora Burst is available right now. Another monk grab is going to go down. Sachiko does get hit by the Aurora Burst. A little bit of a mistake from the Kumi to knock him out of there, but now Sachiko is going to be forced out onto the V2. Can the monk find the grab? Sachiko wisely going up and resetting at the top of this. And like I was saying before, HX in their secured position, really, really tough to find this kill right now. They still have Wooey's Zai ult going down, and a singular Zai ult can 1v3 a team.
Yeah, it's really smart as well. They see the transformation come through from the Tianhai on the low. They pop the Matari ultimate to be able to give the healing, so when one player does get grabbed up, they have enough sustain off of that Matari ultimate. And the damage that Sachiko does, Sachiko goes to the fan, charges up the RMB, drops with the charged RMB on top of the Tianhai, does enough damage to be able to fully heal up the player held in that monk's grab. And as a result, even though, yes, the Zip does get hit by that silence, by that Aurora Burst, and the follow-up chase of the charged verticals on the longsword, we still, with the fan, are able to put ourselves onto the tower and just Scourish kite all the way back to the top. Absolutely punishment-free. As on the low ground, DNZ have no choice but to keep themselves onto the blind side of this ballista. A little bit of pressure coming through from the Kurumi with that cannon, but they can't aggressively check it, because if they do, they go out into the open and potentially grapple directly into another dead-on ballista shot on the way up.
The non-stop cannon pressure coming from DNZ, they have the roller burst covering them, but getting all this free poke damage is going to allow them to get back to their ultimates and be safe. Really good job from DNZ to play this cannon strategy in the end game. Now, they are still a little bit vulnerable. The monk does not have ultimate online. They are going to find a little bit of a nook and cranny to hide here and rotate and transition going into this next leg of the endgame. All these Siphon comps around them can instantly execute them if they know that their monk doesn't have ult up, but Risk Takers does not know this. Monk holding his ground, creating some space for his team. The Roller Burst is going to show up. Now, Risk Takers wisely, slowly pushing their way up. Toothpick's going to come out from Predator, but he's going to get re-toothpicked by the crewman. Get off my monk. Get back, Predator. And DNZ is going to be able to stabilize, but they have to stay close enough considering that HX is up top with that ballista.
Yeah, this is just a stalemate right now. Neither of these teams wanting to full commit until just now. Tianhai ultimate is going to be forced. It's not in time to be able to cover for the Yueshan, who does go down isolated from the rest of the team by that Tumulch ultimate. We're going to see potentially the Kurumi look for the Tether revive onto his teammate. He might just try and stick it. There's the ultimate coming through to get the heal and make sure that his Tianhai is going to be able to live through the most part of his ultimate duration. The Tether Knight comes out onto the body of the Yueshan. Unfortunately, it's a little bit late, and Azrael needs to actually stick onto the Yueshan a lot longer. And in the meantime, he sacrifices his monk's health.
The monk desperately tries to go up, but you hear all the chicken clucking coming out. He's just getting lit up by crossbows, and all the rest who's desperately jumping in the circle over and over and still looming at the top. HX sees all the delicious possible kills and the discipline to not overcommit and close out this game holding the lead. These guys have been here before. You're seeing that disciplined CN playstyle coming out, not risking it all, keeping it close to the heart. They're going to have 0 bad games going into game 6, staying at the top right now. Triple ult, and there's 11 people alive. The one transformer team, their one counter is going to get taken down. And with this, the zone is going to be pushing up from their high perks. They are going to have to engage on the low ground. Who is going to take game 5 of this EU Spring Challenges? It's looking like HX is going to have an undefeated full sweep.
Yeah, surely. They've still got all of their ultimates. Aurora Burst into stanchion on the low ground coming on through. Both these teams trying to come through with those silences. There's no sense. Takes a little bit of damage. Now it comes on through, looking to try and play off of the space that the Aurora Burst should be able to create off in the distance. You can see Risk doing the exact same thing with stanchion on that staff. Is at the moment all of these players utilizing the Sword, stopping a lot of the poke phase from coming through, using it to stop the damage, mitigate all of the risk from the teams around them. Risk takers are going to be able to find a kill. The HX's Sachiko! What happened? Sachiko and HX's team were in the best possible position to MVP. Maybe they got a little bit too early in terms of throwing themselves onto this low ground, but Zone has since clapped away from the Ballista Tower. They had no choice but to throw themselves out of that tower into the mix, and unfortunately into a Tumult ultimate that probably isolated their team, and they were unable to bail them out. Not sure if the res is going to be able to come on through. That was still following through with TNB, who with this Aurora Burst are just controlling all of the space. They find the lockdown onto Risk. We see the Zyno come on through the ultimate into the F3 reset to be able to reposition, maybe buy ourselves a little bit of safe space to find the recovery, but it's into not one, not two Aurora Bursts coming out to lock TNB and force Wooey into running directly out of the silence and into the corruption. And off of the back of double legendary Hangsword Soldiers, TNB is starting to dictate the tempo of this lobby.
Yeah, TNB, super smart to grab these Aurora Bursts and control the left side. And this is where Takeda definitely beats out the sand side. When someone makes a desperate play to go onto Beliza, it's HX and Squeaky looking for a kill, raining down shots in his last dying breath, not able to get it. Great play from Squeaky to go for this last hit, and he's able to secure that second place with that massive 1.4 multiplier. But
before we can have a look and see whether they are, there it is again. HX are going to be hot dropping immediately onto Salvation, and they are going to be contested. This time it looks like by LG. Not quite sure where risk takers have dropped. It looks like they might be in the absolute just smorgasbord of players that are currently occupying Matab, as that is like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 teams all vying for control of Matab. That is crazy. Oh no,
they have Moonbane.
Are in Imperial, and yep, there it is. They have early Moonbane already, uncontested.
I believe their strat is with a certain amount of Jades, you're able to be 1,000 or 2,000 away, and they're just making sure whatever square they land on, they have a box to get that last little bit, and they just dump it immediately onto that Moonbane off spawn. And it looks like Risk Takers is going to take this challenge to the team in the north. Moonbane on that Kurumi on the Siphon composition. Now, most of the action is going down at Metab. Hot dropping right now. Everyone getting in there, getting active. Zai is going to be ulting right now, looking to get in there. His teammates all down. Numinos wanting to get a little bit of value out of this Zai, decides against it, and it's going to be disengaging considering he has a purple weapon. Fight another day, leverages this moving forward instead of just dying and giving all your loot to your enemy.
Yeah, I guess, was that 2 purple soldiers as well? Not quite sure which ones they are. Good news for him is like he has a dagger, which is really great in terms of scare rush disengagements of how fast that one can come through, as we can have a look and see one of the teams that potentially risk takers decides to move on to. We can see the Banes of has been dropped, and it looks like AHY actually had to utilize the Yueshan ultimate to be able to disengage that one cleanly. Did not want to fight inside that additional AoE damage coming in through, especially given the fact that this early in the game, all of their players look to still be on blue armor.
Yeah, I was saying, let's say, I was curious to see if another team would run that cannonball composition. It is still really strong, especially at the likes of Transformers when it comes to kill potential for solos and duos transition to endgame, and even in the 1v1 Yang fight.
When you roll a kill.
Already rolling kill onto Bajin, and it looks like Risk Takers is going to be taking this fight onto HY. They did use their Moonbane, and guess who has the other Moonbane? Chile in his trusty old bag, fading out with that staff, ready to set up this Moonbane play. HY going to re-engage onto Risk Takers. They don't know that HY has the other Moonbane. Yodo is going to be invested in. Will they be able to survive a piece of their own medicine? HY making their way back in. Chile and executing Moonbane initiative. Now Predator stuck in the middle of all of it. He might be the noble sacrifice for everyone. Yodo is going to be going on to Kurumi. Rustum going to be pointing out of here. Lucio trying to cover the exit with the overhold. Non-stop parry's going to come out. He is going to get deep fried for this. F is going to be invested. Temiol's going to go down. Good job from Risk Takers, able to ice off a lot of this pressure. F3 coming out from Chile, looking for the silence, not able to get it. Takeda is going to be invested. He doesn't have his barrier ult up just yet. Now it's the time for Creditor to get that pressure going, but the barrier ult is going to come out. The disengage is going to be coming out. Up the hill they go. Rustum putting the F3 up. Lucio is really low. Can they find some cover away from this barrier mech?
Oh, good teleport from the Parasol. We'll be able to knock back the Yoda, who was looking to try and lock down Predator. on that Takeda. V2 now also comes into play so we can keep everyone healed up. Gets the elemental interaction as well with that Tumult F, and as a result, everyone on the cannibal composition can only go on the outsides of that ultimate. Don't want to properly come through until that one's gone. That just means, however, we get another reset of the F3 from the Kurumi to allow our Takeda to get aggressive with that fan. We're trying to put pressure onto the other team. We know that ultimates aren't going to be in the mix for the cannonball composition this early in the game. You don't have Rupture Gale or Flame Breath to be able to keep regenerating that V3 at such an insane pace with that cannon. And off of the back of that, they're able to focus down one. BLZ goes down. However, Rostam is in a little bit of a pickle at the moment. We managed, however, to find enough pressure onto the Pharaoh to force it to run away. Takeda ultimate is going to stop that clean disengagement. Parry does come on out. However, the Furin Shield means that Kurumi is going to be able to live. And now it's just clean up 1 versus 3. Yuation ultimate comes on out. They really want to try and keep fighting this. Potentially, we see the salty run back with the Yuation looking to stall and just keep this team eternally staggered out, since so many ultimates came through from the side of the Sand Siphon too.
Great job from Risk Seekers, able to ice off all of this Transformer pressure, able to go and take cover inside the tent with that Kurumi. It looks like we're going to get the salty run, but a little pinch of salt never hurt anyone. White armor on Team HY. Temi also going to be invested. Can they win it out? Temi ult, will it be enough versus this Feria ult? Rustum on the corner. Creditor is going to get taken down. Will Risk Takers do the same back? Pinch of salt never hurt anyone. Lucio is going to get stuck against the wall. Yodel is going to be invested. Rustum doing his best to ice off this pressure with the F3 damage reduction. Feria ult is going to come out on stop, poking down Rustum. Creditor is going to take the salty run back, is going to come back. We're all in, baby, for game 6. Risk Takers versus HY.
Dragon Slayer is denied the follow-up into Nezhaz with that Yodo after Kurumi so close to having that ultimate online and keeping everyone sustained through. We're going to drop it now. The V2 starts to come into play. We've still got the recast, so we can put it in a reposition anywhere we want. And yeah, Risk with Creditor going for that salty run back. We'll be able to get the follow-up, the repunish back onto HY. Oh, Raven. Game 6 tends to be where these players start to get a little bit emotional. If they go down and think it's winnable, they will 100% try and take that fight again. And unfortunately, it did not quite pay off for HY.
Yeah, a lot of salt actually leads to high blood pressure and tilt. So a little bit of an overextension by HY, but I respect it. Go out on your shield, all or nothing. They're not playing for second or third. They're playing for first, and they need to get that win in order to snowball out of control. Both of these teams had Moonbanes. Both of them contest, but it looks like Risk Takers, Moonbane connoisseurs, Moonbane aficionados, able to diff HY with the Moonbane execution in and out perfectly, able to win out their off spawn in Imperium.
I mean, it's not just the fact that they had a better Moonbane, it's also the fact they had the Kurumi. Like, that F3 and that damage reduction means that even when ultimates were up on the side of the cannonball composition, there wasn't enough damage. It was so early in the game that the ultimates from the Fairy mech just was not scaled to be able to burst through that damage defense boost that the Kurumi F3 provides, right? 20% when the Tether is going through, 90% after it breaks, and that Takeda just did not go down in the time that he needed to. They needed to take the Takeda down before the ultimate came back into play. And as a result, even though the Yuation is able to stall with the ultimate, you can see that, like, they're more than happy to just let the Yuation stall through, because the second that the salty run back comes through, we go back into neutral, and that's where Sand Siphon is at its strongest.
Exactly, Boxy. Now, on the outside, DNZ versus TNB. Both of these teams in contention in the top 3. Can they find the win right now? Silence is going to be coming out. Tesla ult is going to be invested in the zone. No Sense is going to get taken down or get the kill surrounding DNZ's Lixie before he can get away, but the Wu-Chen port is going to come out. They don't get the silence onto the Wu-Chen, so DNZ is going to live to fight another day. First Yang is up. Who is going to be taking this first Yang challenge and setting up for the victory for today?
I mean, it has to be HX, right? We know that they dropped on Salvation Podium. Haven't seen them come up on either the correct end or the wrong end of the kill feed, so don't quite know the outcome However, what happened on that drop fight, we'll have to wait and see and figure out whether or not one of these players is running around already with a legendary weapon equipped. As at the moment, it looks like we're following TMB, looking to try and figure out where exactly that Team Wu-Chen teleported to. We've been able to find them. Tessa V1 comes on out. This is the Viper V3. Gonna be coming on through from the other side of the team. Wu-Chen teleports on out, and TMB actually don't use it to teleport out. They bait! They teleport directly on top of the other team to engage with a V1 Viper ultimate of their own, and it's absolutely brutal. DMZ lose Jinchen incredibly quickly. The F2 silence is gonna confirm all of the abilities, locks it out for the other player. Tessa gets the F1 back, will be able to use it to peel her position and try and break away from the fight, but she's already incredibly low. Focus strikes in to try and get enough damage to push TMB's no sense back. It gets parried, the Tessa goes down, and TMB, what a beautiful turnaround.
Bang versus LG inside the Rumble Bang. LG on the Transformers, a Transformers Ditto. We used to see this all the time. Now it's a rare sight. Korean trying to diff the other monk. Andy popping the U-Channel. We're into phase 2 of the transition Ditto. I believe Bang likes to run the Temmie, so not a full not a full Transformers. Nice F reset, trying to get the re-slam, but Vicky Chen able to pop the healing circle. Now, the healing circle is going to be popped. Double parry going to be coming out from LG's Monks. Slams are coming down, and this is where Yushan comes out and pulls a little bit ahead. It's a little bit more value, but now no more ults to anyone's name. It's a pure neutral fight for this first Rumble Yang. LG is going to get parried now. Vicky Chen is going to get stuck in that Temmie F and whisk to death. LG Andy now needs to pull this back, but Bang is going to be coming out with the parries and the flanks. Bang is going to come out on top with this Monk, Temmie, Kurumi for this Game 6 first Realm of Yang.
Yeah, I mean, the big difference maker is the Tumult. That CC on the Wisp catch is just absolutely brutal. The Kurumi gets scooped up into it, can't try and utilize any form of her F to be able to put herself onto the sidelines and potentially just tether onto someone. With that F3, as we're going to see the the RMB come through from Credited, the charge up on that fan, catching onto the back of YMTQ's Muma, who is going to go down. Risk really starting to find a lot of momentum with the Sand Siphon composition in terms of those early fights and kills. As we can actually have a look. Wait, that's a Liam. Raven! That's the Spooner on the Liam, Mato on the Justina, and Plume on the Tessa. Oh my goodness, I want to see this team take a fight.
Foolish ambitions, always doing crazy stuff, and it looks like BWG is going to be taken down by TNV. Zay looking to salvage the game. It gets caught out on these buttery rocks. No sense on crew using this Viper composition to take advantage of the volatility of this last game, and it looks like HX on the tried and true Sand Siphon. Gonna try to survive this initial Monk all-in from the Yang depletion of Team LG. Wooey taken to the skies. Nice grapple cancels, waiting to get onto the prio target, just letting his teammates take the initiative. Then flying in, the Monk ult is going to be going down. Wooey does not have Temmie or Takeda ult to his name, but the Temmie ult is going to come down from Squeaky. Sachiko is going to get grabbed. Wooey baiting himself, trying to give Sachiko time to mash out. Not able to get to. Now Wooey going to get grabbed. Double grab is going to come out. Tough position for HX. Re-grab is going to come down. Sachiko needs to bring his team back from the depths. He's not able to. Now Wooey down to a last hit situation. Vicky Chen hot on his heels, looking for the crossbow kill, but Wooey is going to full disengage. Every man for himself. Nifs needs to salvage the situation, but he is going to get taken down. Now it's left to Squicky to survive and give HX a couple of points they need to secure this. Now LG needs 3 soul bombs. They're going to be able to get 2 right now, but one of their teammates is going to be going down. A good thing for them, with 20k in the bank, they can still buy their teammate back.
Risk Takers suddenly have an opening in game number 6. They've already set up a lot of kills for themselves. Will
7
they be
kills.
able? Yeah, will they be able to topple HX at the last possible moment to be able to overtake and take that first place finish? They are on that Sun Siphon composition. This is one of the strongest compositions, both when ultimates are in play, but also in neutral, with just the sheer amount of sustain and CC that you have. If a team tries to come at you, you can just wisp. Or if a team tries to throw their ultimates at you and you're in an ultimate economy deficiency, then you can have that Kurumi F3 just attach onto either your Temmie or your Takeda, and they can tank the full duration of it.
Yeah, just the anti-burst of the Sand Siphon is absolutely ridiculous. As long as your teammates play for each other and cover each other, no composition can really lay down the law and cheese you down. Now, the one thing that counters Sand Siphon is other Sand Siphons, though. As you use your abilities, you leave yourself vulnerable to getting all in from another Sand Siphon. Predator's going to lead the charge. F3 going to be coming out from Andy to create some space, to try to survive this situation. Vicky Chen down to 1 HP already, though. Can she survive? Yuchon's doing her very best to keep her alive. No, she cannot. Risk Takers is going to pick up possibly 2 kills right now. Now it's up to Andy to survive the situation. He's going to make it to Plume Castle. Can he get his kite on? Can he get away from the likes of Lucio, Creditor, and Rustum? Transforming. Where did he go? Ankle's broken. My man got away.
Oh, but he doesn't ring the bell. The problem is, like, Risk now have a decision. Do they try and chase the Yueshan who, well, they know where he's playing from because they can see him above him now. But that's only 1 kill. Or do they try and go second round with Gang and potentially get free? I don't think they're going to be able to make weight squeaky.
Wait a minute.
Hold on a second. Is this going to be a 1 versus 3? This is a gamble play from HX. He hoped that he wouldn't get challenged and maybe he'd be able to pick up a rebuff charm from the realm of Gang. Now he's got to go into, wait, 1 versus 2. No, 1 versus, no, wait, it is a 1 versus 3. Tumult Trap is going to come through immediately. Repeat a crossbow with Venom Tip attached to it as well. It's going to be chunking through all of his health bar in such a fast fashion, and he's just melted.
And a dodge man. Not winnable. Never mind. Definitely not winnable. I haven't seen the stack of dodge ban and repeater, but once you got Venom Tip and the dodge ban, it's looking cooked. Not only are you poisoned, but you have no stamina. Swookie does get all in right there, so his best bet to not just go down in that fashion is to go to Realm of Yang. He has a second chance at life right now to go and find possibly a Soul Bloom, possibly a res for his teammate. That's the big thing of why going to Realm of Yang is still important. He can still build up enough cash to buy his teammate back, and even though he'll trade out his life after 4 minutes, one of his teammates can make it to the end game and secure that placement points and possibly deny someone else that juicy placement point multiplier, because places 1 through 4 are really the big multipliers, 1.4 and 1.3 respectively. Now, this next Spirit Well TNB, one of the teams in contention with Risk Takers, if they're able to keep this going, can we see an upset to HX? It would be an absolutely insane upset.
Oh, here's Bang with that repeater crossbow, Venom Tip, Flamer as well on the field. It's going to be a Tianhai versus Tianhai Monk off. As we can see, Plum with that portal just looking to absolutely fry that Monk's legs. As a result, he's having to get the Kurumi Tether. At the same time, he's not getting any opportunity to set up these grabs. If you're moving as a Monk, you're not able to find any of those hands. But he, unfortunately, if he stays still, he just absolutely melts. So all of this damage coming through from the ranged and the pole sword pressure and the fan as well. He's forced to drop the ultimate, gets the F1, but unfortunately for him, the second that it drops out, he's immediately going to be grabbed up by the other Monk. Plum sees the attempt to disengage, utilizes that Temi F to actually keep the chase up, will not be able to find the grapple chase connection onto him, and has to instead turn his focus and potentially deal with the rest of his team. He's still looking for that Monkey, trying to figure out where exactly this Tianhai has gone. His Kurumi is playing with him as he tries to go to the box and gets jumped above. Was that a Zai?
Yeah, another team, Numinos' team, is showing up, Pename and crew, with the third party, but Bang with that Draco Storm. And like I was saying before, Moxie, when you have Draco Storm, you're practically unkillable. You see Plum just chopping away at the Monk's legs, at the tree, with the Monk coming up the box. There's nothing you can do. Old school Monk Fry showing up, but not able to get that damage going just because with that 20% damage reduction on all for 10 seconds, it's really tough to get that burst comboed with the F3 from Curly. But it looks like Ark is able to come in, take down LG's Andy, and now Plum's gonna invest the Temi-ult. Doesn't want Ark to get out of here. They still got 30 seconds of Draco Storm. That's 30 seconds of pain. YKZ's Jitsu on the Zai trying to peel for his teammates, but the stuns are coming out from the non-swap wisp of Plum. Multiple teams coming in though from the flanks. Everyone's piling in. Bang has to be careful over here. Plum not careful, ends up getting taken down, shoved away from his teammates. Now YKZ has a chance to close out Bang on the outside, but Risk Taker showing up to the party, wants to get more kills. YKZ is going to call the disengage and get out of there. F3 is going to be invested from Zai. He's taken to the rooftop, but can Bang capitalize on this situation and close the distance to HX?
Well, I mean, off of all of those parries, the Zai has been able to pick herself up a legendary weapon. You can see that Kurumi Tever attempted from Bang's team to try and ping that third teammate back up. It looks like YKZ are actually going to let it go through and then try and jump in on the player the second that the revive comes on out so they can feed themselves another of the kills. Risk having the exact same idea. They are waiting for the tether, waiting for the revive, and looking to catch the player the second that the revive comes through in the charged RMB, and as a result, Bang abandons the plan.
Yeah, smart play from Bang not to res their teammates into absolute death. Now, F3 technically could keep him alive, but with so much of that res already bring up, they can wait again to res again when it's a little bit more safe. And now Risk Takers setting up. They're up to 8 kills. They need to close out this lobby.
We're just going back to camping.
30
bomb. Raven, you better believe we're just going back to camping.
F3's gonna go in. A nice F is gonna come out. Nice peel coming down for him to get out of here. Takeda ult's gonna be invested, but Plum is gonna get taken down. Ult's gonna come out, and Temi ult is gonna come down to deny, but one grab is gonna go down for the Monk. Lucio looking to PO for his teammate. He's not going to get follow-up done, so he doesn't risk going in. It doesn't matter, but Plum again is going to get another res from his Kurumi. The big benefit of zipping versus Kurumi is in these scuff situations with really good terrain. Kurumi is non-stop able to get reses. Monk's going to be de-transforming, and now Lucio and Risk Takers have an opportunity to pick up a ton of kills. We just let him res right here and just keep farming up some kills if we want. Korean is going to get taken down by TNB's Bokai. TNB showing up to the party, though. It's not an all-you-can-eat buffet when another party shows up.
I believe you can't actually go for that play. There's something in the rulebook in MVPL, and I would believe it applies here too. You can only get at most 2 kill points off of one player.
Huh? Off a res? Even if they're farming over and over?
Yeah. You can, it's in the rulebook, because otherwise, like you said, people would literally just allow the Kurumi to constantly revive or bring people back and just camp the body. No, you can only get a kill point off of one specific player twice in any round.
Oh, in any round?
Yeah, so like if you meet the same team and you kill them once and you send them back to Soul Altar and then you meet them again, you can still get a point the second time for that kill, but you can't, if you kill that same player 3 times, get a kill point.
I'm pretty sure no one has been keeping track of this. That would be incredibly hard to reinforce outside of NBPL of everyone.
Yeah, like I said, I know it applies in NBPL. I'm not sure if it applies here.
That'd be incredibly hard to reinforce considering there's no VODs of every single team's POV. But I will take your word for it, Moxie. Definitely teams who have been farming all day, that rule would have to be combed through and figured out. But TNB up to, oh my goodness, it's possible, Moxie. We are up to 14 kills. If they go and drop like a 20 bomb, 25 bomb, they could possibly pass HX, and they are on this Viper composition, so the aggression is not going to stop. The opportunities are going to keep coming towards their way, because with that Viper silence, they can create any opportunity they want. Fortune favors the bold, but they make their own luck going with this Viper composition on the last game of the day.
I mean, fortune favors the bold, but they're at the moment very gold. That is 2 lots of legendary armor as well as a legendary weapon on that Viper. So we can have a look at YKZ now. Finishing up. Oh, that was HX's Sachiko. Was HX able to find the recovery? Was Sachiko the only one of their team that was currently up? If so, that is brilliant news for the Viper composition, who are so close to being able to overtake. It is going to be G-Shui coming on in with that Zai trying to come through with the V2 and peel to the zip, but the zip is still going to go down, and Bang Korean is going to be able to pick that one up with the fan just coming on through with all of the CC off of that Tian high into the fan. RMB charge up, just putting constant pressure onto the Zai team. There's the Kurumi ultimate coming on out, making sure that all of our armor is going to be kept up and restored, and it's not going to be traded out, so that we don't look vulnerable if another team decides to come in, roll up onto the area, and think because we're looting bodies that we might have entered the
Korean
fight by burning that Transformer ultimate.
Up to 6 kills right now. Spooner still alive. HX
we got spotted.
he's still alive, but he is going to get taken down by Mado. But TNB shows up looking for the opener. Korean's only one with the ultimate. He is going to pop it right now, but again, Uchen ports are coming down. The Clucks are coming out with the crossbow. The stamina suck is going to grab No Sense, so he cannot dodge from this, and they're going to get ported into zone. They have to be careful right now. Bang on the pursuit. Plum looking to get active, looking to get Korean some more grabs, but nice job for TNB to get out of line of sight, get out of sight. But, oh, the scoop around the corner, grabbing the zip, or the, looks like the Viper out into the open, but No Sense is going to come down with this V1, where, what can they do? Dang, Korean stunned at the top is going to get taken down. Plum with the Temion still has it ready to be invested. Can they bring us back? No Sense even in the middle of a Temion. Parry's going to come out from Plum. He's going to turn it over. Not be able to find the kill though. He is going to get charmed and taken down. TNB is going absolutely nuts. Up to 16 kills. Can they pass? HX going into those last little bit. 17 kills. Good googly moogies. Is TNB, the dream is alive right now. They possibly can drop this 30 bomb.
I mean, especially because I'm not sure if HX are actually out of this lobby. We saw Sachiko go down in the kill feed, but Wooey also, very shortly afterwards, followed suit. I'm not sure if HX were able to recover their third member in time. TNB might be the only ones currently in the top 3 on the leaderboard who are capable of actually putting up more points at the moment. And as a result, they might be the only ones who get to dictate whether or not that leaderboard changes at all. Yeah, HX, we just got confirmation from Prodraven. HX are fully eliminated from this lobby. It is all down to TNB. They currently have 3 players. They can pick up a maximum of 4 other kills. Can they dethrone HX in the last possible moment? They've got their ultimate. They're holding onto the Viper V1. They're going to get scooped up by the PM! No! The Viper gets scooped into the ultimate, and immediately TNB have to just full commit the V1 to be able to push the Liam composition further away. The grief might deal TNB out of this, but thankfully they've got the Dragon's Roar. No Sense comes in with the Soldier, it zones everyone into the corruption tick damage, forces the Justina into using that free shell early. The Tessa V1 gets dropped. We're making sure that no one is able to find the interaction on the soul and interrupt it as No Sense gets hit by the 3-second stun. We'll be able to dodge away, but so much damage is coming through. They're chasing this Viper. They're not going to let her have the space to be able to set up this F2 as No Sense is just trying to find any opportunity to get a heal. Gets a huge parry on Tomato. Might be able to get the follow-up damage. And off of the back of that, we should be able to find the lockdown onto the Justina. Charges up another Dragon's Roll, but unfortunately isn't able to 180 turn it in time. And as a result, it's still blue focus when you throw it instead of golden, and it gets parried.
Oh my goodness, one person allowed. That was TNB's chance to win it all, and Plumeria, Mado, and Spooner might have stopped them right at the finish line. You shall not pass go. You shall not collect this first place. It's going to be really, really close, Moxie. That has to be heartbreaking to take this down.
There it is.
And they do. Team HX is your EU Spring Challenge winners. It was close right at the end there, but I was pretty sure they got enough kills to secure their wins.